Welcome in. We made it to Friday. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for joining us. You know, nobody does Indiana news, politics, and government like us. We've got a big show coming up for you today. Here in just a little bit, the governor has signed a pledge along with the president in which he says, we're not going to have the data centers raise your electric prices. I don't know if I believe that. I don't think I believe that. We got some audio from Trump about that. Look, the problem with the data centers is nobody knows anything about the data centers. We've talked about this before. The issue with the data centers is nobody knows anything about the data centers. People don't understand them. They don't understand what they do. They don't understand how they help us. They don't understand how they help them. I mean, they know, right? Like, I need a data center in some capacity to be on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter. But when people people understand manufacturing. Even if they don't know the business itself, they have an idea of what it is and what it does. People understand Walmart. They understand retail. They understand building things. They understand building houses. They understand boats. All of that stuff. I do whatever. Okay, even if I don't know the intricacies of what you do, I understand in principle what it is that you do. But with the data centers, we don't know. And we're seeing all of this emphasis in such a short period of time. We're seeing all of this emphasis in such a short period of time. Literally, it is moving at light speed, and we are seeing industries change. We are seeing workforces change. We are seeing ways of business change, ways of doing business change. And then at the same time, we're seeing this mass elevation in our costs. We've been told for years, the grid. We're going to run out of power. The grid. Upgrade the grid. Huge investments in the grid. I'm going to need the audios, by the way, for this. Okay, very good. And yet, then we see this huge investment, this huge emphasis, on something we don't understand and how it benefits us. But we do know, in the case of the data centers, they're getting these massive abatements, these massive giveaways. And so everybody is seeing everything go up in price, everything go up in cost. We're giving away tax dollars, tax incentives to companies that we don't know what they do and we don't see a tangible benefit. And there's a lot of fear. So we'll talk about a little bit this pledge Braun has signed on to that I think the average person is very skeptical about. But first, we have to start with this. And it pains me to do because, well, yesterday we were so nice to Todd Young. Yeah, it's like the MOU with the Iranians. Everybody knew the peace accord wasn't going to last. So yesterday we said a lot of nice things about Todd Young because he has been very vocal in his support of the ban on stock trading in Congress, and that's great. However, this audio clip, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before that he said this, but I'm listening to this going, do you not understand the role you played in the thing that you're now upset about? Like I'm watching this speech from the Senate floor, and I'm in real time, I'm just yelling at my computer, and I don't know why I would do that. It doesn't do any good. It's not like Todd Young is going to hear me through the computer after he's not in the place of the speech that he's already given. But I'm hearing this speech in real time and I'm screaming, do you not understand the role you played and the problem you have now identified that needs to be solved? I mean, you're going to hear this and you're going to realize it's the most government thing ever. Government creates problem. Government then allows problem to fester. Years later, government then goes, hey, there's a problem here. You're going to need government to solve the problem. But the problem wouldn't have existed if the government hadn't created the problem in the first place. Stop creating the problems, we won't need to solve the problems. So here's what I'm talking about. In 2020, our government, which was controlled by the Republicans, yeah, there was a Democrat House, but there was a Republican Senate and a Republican president. Almost universally, with a few exceptions, a few exceptions in the House and the Senate, voted to throw trillions of dollars into the economy with essentially no safeguards. Why did they do that? Because they were bribing the states to shut down society. They wanted you to believe at a state, a local, and a federal level, they could shut down society and you wouldn't feel severe, lasting ramifications. And if you go back in a time machine now, I've been mostly erased from my former employer, but if you could go back in a time machine and you could find old episodes of Rob and the Chicks, you would hear me being the one person during the, 14 or 15 days to flatten the curve saying, please don't do this. Once we start, we're never going to stop. And once we start, I said, it will take a while because that's how inflation works. But you can't shut society down. You can't print all of this money and there not be severe impact with the price of everything. And it did. It took about a year. And then what did we see? Everything from the goods you buy, the food you buy, the house you live in, everything skyrocketed in price. Except for bananas for some reason. I still can't figure out why bananas have been somewhat immune. I mean, you can still get a pound of bananas for under 50 cents. I still can't figure that out. But almost everything else except for bananas has skyrocketed in price. And this happened because the government, Republicans and Democrats, voted to print trillions of dollars. Now, not only did they vote to print trillions of dollars, their goal became, and they said it very publicly, it's not something you have to interpret or take my word for. We have to get this money into the economy as fast as possible. It was literally the meme of the little rascal kid throwing money out the window. That was it. They were like, here, catch. That's what they did with the economy. There were no safeguards. There were no checks and balances. I remember having this conversation. What was it? PIP? Was it PIP? What was the program called where they were just giving money to businesses? Where you could apply for the thing and they would just give you money. Was it PIP? That's performance improvement plan. That's what they needed with this. They needed a performance improvement plan. What was it called? There was an acronym for it. Whatever the thing was, I forget now. It's like a trauma response. I've just blocked it from my memory. But I remember having this conversation with my accountant at the time because I was like, I think we're eligible for this because there was so little direction about who was actually eligible. PPP. It was Paycheck Protection Plan. Damn, the internet's great, isn't it? 20 years ago or 30 years, we'd have been totally screwed. Our radio show would have just been in shambles 30 years ago, not knowing that. Now, 10 seconds, boom. Producer Jason on it. PPP, Paycheck Protection Plan. And I remember very vividly having this conversation with my accountant. And he is awesome dude. Honest beyond belief. And I know I was like, I'm reading the rules on this. And I'm like, I think we are qualifying for this, even as a very small business. And so I called him, and I remember this conversation very vividly. In fact, we had it back in the old office I had back with Terry Stacy. And I remember asking him, are we eligible for this? And he said, and I'll never forget this. He said, it looks like it. I said, can you get more specific? He said, no. I said, why not? He goes, nobody really knows who's eligible. I said, what do you mean? He goes, it's written so vaguely that most people are probably, quote unquote, eligible in the moment. But he said, eventually, it's amazing how right he proved to be. He goes, eventually, the government's going to realize we gave out a lot of money and we don't like some of the people who got it, and we're going to take it back from people. And he said, so we can apply. You'll get it. You're not doing anything illegal. But he said, be prepared. They're probably going to come and take it back from you. So I'd hold on to a few bucks. And I said, it's not worth it. I said, it's not worth the hassle. It's not worth the stress. I'm just not going to do it. And he was exactly right. The government had no idea who they were giving money to. None. Still don't. But they put it on steroids in 2020 because their whole goal, and it was true at the local level, it was true at the state level, it's true at the federal level, was we believe we can throw enough money at you that you won't feel the actual pain we are causing you by the insanity, the stupidity of shutting down society. And yeah, 2 years from now, we'll deal with it, but we bank on you being too stupid or apathetic or uninformed to realize what we did it to you. And then if you do realize it, we'll go, well, we were saving you from dying. We were saving you from the COVID. And that's exactly what happened. All sorts. Now, there are some people who applied for it who genuinely might have thought they were eligible for it, and then they came back and determined they weren't, and they suffered the fate that I was warned we might suffer. But there were literally hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars that went to brazen fraudsters. Brazen criminals. It may have been $1 trillion. We'll never know the true number. And it was so obvious this was going to happen. It was so obvious this was going to be the end result. I mean, I remember looking at the form you had to fill out to apply, and I was like, there's no checks or balances here. The government, as big as it is, doesn't have enough people to check every person that's applying to make sure they're telling the truth. And so, fast forward 6 years, everything is skyrocketed in price, if you can get stuff. We had Dr. Munger on last week. He talked about how the shutdown of shipping was probably even the bigger deal than the money printing. I mean, it was all bad, but we've never recovered from the shutdown of being able to get stuff into the country. Then you obviously tack on the Trump tariffs. I mean, guys, the Trump tariffs are a disaster. We have a neighbor who has been a great neighbor to us at our new building. It's a business that's been around for years, and they're moving out. They're not shutting down per se, but they're moving out. They're downsizing. And talked to one of the guys the other day. You know what he said? It is added, in many cases, upwards of 40% to the cost of us selling our product. The tariffs. Now, that's not the only reason that they're shutting down, but it's a big one. That they're closing their office here. It's a big one. He said, people can't begin to understand how much those tariffs have added to cost. So all of these things, we've just kept making it worse. And by the way, this guy's a conservative that said that. It's not some radical leftist. But coming back to Todd Young was one of the people who voted for printing all of this money with no safeguards, with no checks and balances, with no way to enforce who was getting the money. What the hell would you think is going to happen when you do that? That a bunch of bad actors were going to get in and get their part of it. It was like saying, come here. It was like putting a fish in the water for a shark. Please take our money. Please lie to us. Please deceive us. Any person with an IQ over about 7 would have figured this out. And yet the smartest and the greatest amongst us, or who we're told are the smartest and greatest amongst us, the U.S. Senate apparently couldn't do that. And there were, as we predicted, hundreds and hundreds of billions, probably $1 trillion or more, of absolute blatant brazen fraud. Well, now, Todd Young on the Senate floor is talking about changes that he wants to see to the Small Business Administration to ensure that these bad actors can't get any more money from the Small Business Administration. I want you to listen to this, and as you're listening to this, remember that this is the guy who voted to print trillions of dollars with no safeguards whatsoever, now 6 years later, upset that fraudsters got money from the government, and he wants to make sure they can't get the money ever again. Take a listen.
Our federal small business programs exist for that purpose, to help hardworking entrepreneurs grow their businesses, to create more jobs. They don't exist to reward those who have defrauded taxpayers. During the COVID pandemic, some individuals exploited emergency Small Business Administration relief programs for personal gain. Their actions diverted resources away from legitimate small businesses in Indiana and across the country, and they undermine confidence in these important programs. They undermine confidence in government. So the principle behind my bill is quite simple. If someone is convicted of defrauding the Small Business Administration through certain COVID-era loan or grant programs, then that individual should not be eligible for future SBA assistance. It's that simple. They should not be eligible if they're a fraudster.
Okay, that's fine. All well and good. But, sir, you have to take ownership that you created that, the ability of that to happen. There was no need to shut our society down. There were people, COVID was real, people died. It's horrible. I know people who lost loved ones to COVID. It's horrible. A lot of people got COVID, never were the same afterwards. I'm not a COVID denier. But what I am about is the truth. And there's nothing that the government did that they can prove prevented one person from getting COVID. If we had just taken our time, learned about the data, it became abundantly clear 2 or 3 weeks in who was most at risk if they got COVID. The elderly, people with certain comorbidities. Most people got COVID. Yeah, they may have never been like exactly the same, but there was nothing that the shutdowns did that prevented them from getting COVID. It's a virus. The masking stuff was stupid. And there's not a hint of proof it stopped a person from getting COVID. The 6 feet apart stuff, stupid. There's not a hint of proof it kept anybody from getting COVID. Everything the government did was performative theater, and it caused irreparable damage to our society. You look at the growth, the irresponsible growth that has happened around central Indiana. You know why it happened? They gave away money. Money was basically free. Interest rates, next to nothing. They were begging these builders, come take our money and do with it as you please. The inflation, the changing of the landscape, the character, the history of our areas, all of this stuff happened because of the magical money printing factory that the government turned on. Immediately, begging people to apply, begging people to take money with no safeguards, with no checks, with no balances in the moment. These are the people that we are told are the smartest among us, who know your own life better than you do, who get to lord over you and make choices over you. And they didn't know, people like Todd Young didn't know that if you just print, $5 trillion in a year, and you beg people to take it without any sort of oversight, that criminals are going to get involved? I heard that yesterday. It was like, shame on you for not acknowledging you made it happen. It's fine. It's good that you want to catch fraudsters. Great. But you enabled it to happen. There's never any ownership from the government, from the elected officials in the role they play in the problems they now claim to want to solve. There was not there is fraud in the government, obviously, but it is not to the level that it was until you created the mechanism for the fraud to exist. We're never going to recover from what our government did to us during COVID. Never. We're never going back. And Todd Young played a role in that, and he needs to own it. And Todd Young told me several years ago in a rather infamous encounter that we had, he's never going to stop printing money. So I find it hard to believe that he's really that worried about it when it took him 6 years to say, hey, if you got convicted of fraud, you shouldn't be able to get money from the SBA. Again, good on him for saying he's going to do it, but it's a lot too late. It's a lot too late. The genie can never be put back in the bottle. All right, a couple of programming news announcements, et cetera, and then we'll get to some more audio. We got a ton of stuff to get to. We got to get to this audio about Trump, talking about this pledge that Braun has signed on to. We've got AOC audio demanding proof of life from McConnell. A whole bunch of stuff to get to here today. But first, couple of announcements, requests, et cetera. Number one, help us grow the Rob Kendall Show. You can do that. It's pretty simple. Like, share, and subscribe. Those three things. If you do those, you do them every day for us, it's going to really help us grow this program dedicated to Indiana news, politics, and government. So number one, hit the thumbs up button. If you're watching us live or watching us on demand on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button. If you're an on-demand listener, one of the thousands of people who join us on the on-demand podcast, leave us that 5-star review. Leave us a good review. Apple, Spotify, iHeart, all the places. You can help us out. Share the feed out. No matter where it is, let people know you're listening to The Rob Kendall Show. And last but certainly not least, subscribe to the channel wherever you're listening to us from. Like, share, and subscribe. Also, many of you know this by now, but we have new listeners all the time. We're having a party. Well, John Rust is having a party for you, The Rob Kendall Show, listeners and fans, and viewers. You're invited. It's totally free to attend. It's Saturday, October the 3rd at the Palatial Rust Estate in Seymour. It is in celebration of America's 250th birthday. So there's going to be patriotic music. There's going to be a super cool antique car show. Lunch is going to be catered by Double D's, free lunch. I'm giving a speech about how great the country is and a whole lot more. And a whole lot more also includes birthday cake for Jason's birthday. We'd love for you to be there. We'd love for you to join us, coming out with other Rob Kendall Show listeners, viewers, etc., and have a great time in the process. Again, no cost to attend. John's doing this because he loves you guys and wants to say thanks for the great community that you've created. All you got to do to RSVP, rustforamerica@gmail.com. That's the email address, rustforamerica@gmail.com. Just tell John, hey, here's who I am. Here's how many people I'm bringing with me. And then bam, he needs the list to know how much food. I mean, the guy's like, here, I'm trying to give away food. Great food. Double D's Barbecue in Clayton, which we'll tell you about in a little bit. So join us. October the 3rd. Hey, one of the guys I think is going to be there, our pal Anthony Gary from Indy Dwell Real Estate. And Anthony, you saw his work the other day, and he's going to be with us a whole bunch coming up here about various things, the housing market and interest rates and, all this sort of stuff, talking about the impact, because your home, it is probably the most important thing you're ever going to buy or sell. So trust it to a pro. That's where Anthony Gary, Indy Dwell Real Estate, comes in. He doesn't just list homes for sale. He gets them noticed. He gets them shown, and he gets them sold without you losing sleep or sanity. Anthony's trained with some of the top negotiators on earth, and he is ready to help you achieve your real estate goals. Put his expert selling strategy and experience and expertise to work for you. Anthony Gary, Indy Dwell Real Estate. And by the way, he's going to be doing a lot of stuff for us, as we said, related to the housing market, housing prices, all these sort of things to keep you informed, because we are super into the housing market here in central Indiana. Just you want to get a hold of him, and even if you don't need to buy or sell a home, let him know you appreciate him sponsoring our show and the content he's given us. Call or text Anthony, 317-756-1159, 317-756-1159. All right, we've got so much more audio to get to today, including Trump on this pledge that Braun has signed on to about the data centers. AOC is demanding proof of life on McConnell. More establishment Democrats giving in to the lunatics on the left. We got a ton of stuff to get to today, guys. Don't go. Oh, plus Nikki Kelly from the Capitol Chronicle has a great op-ed about what's going to happen with gas prices and how pissed off Hoosiers are going to be here in the not-too-distant future. A lot of stuff to get to today. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Rob Kendall Show. Do you have a dog but don't have a fenced-in yard? Your HOA won't allow a fence? Worried about having to watch your furry friend anytime you go outside? Avoid the blazing hot summers and freezing cold winters with All-American Dog Fence. All-American Dog Fence is the cost-effective, easy-to-use in-ground fence system to keep your dog secure and give you peace of mind anytime they're outside. All-American Dog Fence backs their Pet Stop products with a lifetime warranty. Call or text All-American Dog Fence at 317-862-6606 or visit their website at allamericandogfence.com. Mention the Rob Kendall Show and get $200 off a new installation.
DC politicians don't care. Buying stocks with insider information, they get filthy rich. But if you did it, you'd get locked up. Thankfully, there's one fighter on our side. Senator Todd Young is pushing to ban all congressional stock trading forever. He's never traded a single stock while in Congress. Young's a Marine who does the right thing. Contact Senator Todd Young. Thank him for standing up for us and for fighting to ban congressional stock trading.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance, so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Hope you're having a great Friday. Thanks for spending it with us. All right, so coming over in just a moment, the governor has signed on to this pledge with Trump about data centers and the cost of electricity related to data centers. We're going to tell you what that is. I don't believe any of it. And then we're going to play some audio from Trump talking about it. But first, another example of the Democrats just giving away their party. Just absolutely giving away their party to these complete and utter maniacs. Look, you got to stand and fight in anything big in life. Very few things are just absolutely easy. And the Democrats appear content, and it is happening more and more frequent, that they are content to just give away the party to the maniacs. Like, leave me alone in the moment. Don't challenge me in the moment. I'll say nice things about you or deflect about you. Just leave me alone. The problem is, and history teaches us, nobody ever just gets left alone. The left, the socialists, the communists, which is who these people are, I mean, their whole premise is about government taking over everything. You think they're not going to try to take over all of the offices? Like, this is a real deal. When Trump talks about it and these Republicans are talking about it, they're talking about it because they're trying to save themselves in the midterms. But it's a real thing. These people really exist. They really are starting to win elections, both primaries and general elections, especially in super liberal areas. And they're growing. And the Democrats, who are going to be the ones that have to stop it in the moment, the establishment, rank and file Democrats, have no desire to do it. They are scared to death of these people. Here is the latest example of this. Marie Gluesenkamp Perez, she is sort of they used to call them blue dog Democrats, moderate Democrats now. I don't even know if blue dogs Democrats even exist. But she was on, I think this was like public radio. I'm not sure exactly what forum she was on, but she got asked about these lunatic socialists taking over the Democrat Party, and listen to how she, just like so many others, wants absolutely nothing to do with the question. Take a listen.
Is it going to be more difficult for you as somebody who's really carved out this more centrist path? I mean, you've called yourself an old school Democrat. There's very few of you left. Like, do you look at that and say, gosh, maybe the party is leaving me behind completely?
So I think it's important to make the point here that there's a difference between centrism and between I guess like moderation. I think that the positions that I take are strong majority opinions on both sides of the aisle. I think I am 100% on board with frustration at the way politics has evolved or devolved. It's messed up. The more I'm here, the more I see how messed up it is. So I absolutely understand and share the frustration and anger.
She didn't want any part of that, to the point she was frozen. Did you guys hear it? She was frozen in fear. She couldn't put words together. She obviously didn't answer the question at all. And it is like you are now dealing with, like, people get in relationships where one spouse is the absolute, like, domineering force and doesn't let you do anything. And then, like, there's something you want to do, or one girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever is the dominating force, and there's something you want to do, but, like, you don't even want to ask because they're going to be mad if you do something that it's not what they want to do. Like, that's what it's like. She's, like, afraid, instead of asking if she can do something, she's afraid to answer, because she knows if she says the wrong thing, they're all going to turn on her, because they're insane people. They're absolutely insane people. And the problem that this woman and all the rest of these people who are not taking this head on right now are going to have is they'll come for them sooner rather than later. Someone always has to be the problem. Someone always has to be the reason things aren't working out. So these Democrats, these moderates, these blue dogs, whatever you want to call them now, they're digging their own grave by refusing to address the issue in the moment. When a problem is presented to you, and this is true in pretty much all facets of life, simply closing your eyes and hoping it goes away very, 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 very rarely ever works out. Just have the confrontation, whatever the thing is, and get it done. Have it out peacefully, law-abidingly, and get it done. Then it's over. They are sitting back, allowing these people to take over, and by the time they finally figure out they have to make a stand, because eventually they come for every one of these people, it's going to be too late. It's over. Democrats are done. The Democrats as a party are done. They're going to be taken over by the socialists and the communists, and the Democrat Party, as it has been known for generations, is over. They may not know in the moment. It's over. All right, let's talk about probably the biggest local story of the day, and that was that yesterday, and I'm working off a story from the Indiana Capital Chronicle. There were other outlets that covered this. Indiana's governor, Mike Braun, and 22 other governors signed on to President Donald Trump's expanded pledge to protect utility customers from the cost of new massive data center developments. I don't believe this for a second. Because no matter what we do with electricity, there's already massive giveaways in terms of financial incentives. As in, like, you don't pay full property taxes for decades. You get all your stuff in your building with 90% property tax abatements. You don't pay sales tax for decades. So no matter what happens with electricity, I don't believe this for a second. In the pledge, signatories commit to building or buying the additional electricity generation resources and infrastructure upgrades needed to satisfy their own power demands and paying for the full cost. When possible, they'll also add more capacity benefiting the public. Now, here's my problem. Lawmakers ignore laws all the time. They don't follow through on actual things they put down in writing they're going to do. Some pledge? I'm supposed to be satisfied by some pledge? We have not seen an example yet. I mean, why have we... Look, you can either believe it's the world's biggest coincidence that we have seen an influx in data centers being built in Indiana over the past 5 years, and you've seen a massive spike in utility bill increases. You can either believe that the data centers, that's the world's biggest coincidence, or the data centers are playing a major role in the spike in utility prices. I mean, guys, by perspective, some of these data centers will use as much power as an entire community. Math, logic tells you they're a major factor in the spike in utility prices. I don't believe for a second that we're just going to flip a switch and all of a sudden we're going to go from basically letting these data centers get their way on about everything to all of a sudden now they're going to pay for all their own stuff. Oh, and it's going to help you out, by the way, too. How many times have we've seen the government come in and they go, this is really going to help you out. You guys will love this. And then it ends up screwing us. I don't believe for a second, given Indiana's total subserviency to the data center industry, based on incentives and previous policies related to utilities and utility prices and utility regulation, that all of a sudden Mike Braun is going to mandate that every data center pay its entire own freight. I don't believe that for a second. According to the Capitol Chronicle, they'll operate under separately negotiated rate structures intended to insulate other customers and will pay those rates for the power and the infrastructure bought online to serve them, regardless of whether they use all the electricity anticipated or not. The problem, though, guys, is there's not enough capacity. You can charge them $1 billion if you want. If there's not enough capacity, it doesn't matter. There are two issues at play. The price of the utility itself, the price of the service itself, and the access to the service. Actually, as bad as the price stuff is, the access to the service is the bigger deal. We do not have enough capacity for all of these data centers to come online. And the idea that in some swift order, they're going to create their own grid or add to the grid or whatever else, bull. I don't believe that for a second. The pledge also includes commitments to boost grid reliability, including by contributing their backup generation resources to prevent power shortages and for investments in local job creation and workforce development. Again, this is like, it's like this, I feel like the public is being conned. Data centers don't create employees after the thing is built. How many times do we see with these data centers? 30 employees, 40 employees. That's it. They're not going to all of a sudden just change their business model and go, now there's 500 employees. That's not how it works for the most part. And we've seen with the job creation, that's sort of misleading. Now, sort of it is misleading because a lot of the workers come from outside the area. They come in, they may stay there for 6 months to do the project or a year to do the project, and they leave. They're done. The jobs are transient. We heard yesterday when James Briggs and I were having that conversation about the road funding bill, the wheel tax, and Vop Osili's plan with the City County Council to bond out $375 million of road projects. You can't do $375 million of road projects in a year. There's not enough construction workers. There's not enough people working to expand the grid even if you wanted to. So these data centers are going to come in. They're going to come in online. They're going to get up. They're going to get operational. They're going to they're going to continue to take the power from the rest of us with this pledge of, oh, yeah, over time, we'll make it work. Guys, the data centers haven't made it work yet. And I'm not blaming the data centers. It's the government's job to protect the people from harm. I mean, it's your job to protect yourself. But in terms of policy-wise, you never should count on the government for anything. But they have invited these people in. And again, I'm not anti-data center. I'm anti-bad policy about data centers. I'm anti not making data centers pay their full freight. I'm anti us paying more so that data centers can exist. I'm not for subsidizing the data centers. I'm not against the data centers, but I'm not for subsidizing them. I'm not for incentivizing them. And what we have done repeatedly in this state and in this country is we have subsidized these data centers. Here is Trump yesterday discussing this ratepayer protection pledge that our governor and 21 other governors and nearly 200 stakeholders have joined. And here's the thing, and you can't see this because it's audio. He's like reading from a script. He's like reading from a script. He doesn't appear to have any enthusiasm at all, he being Trump in this. It just seemed like somebody put a piece of paper in front of him and he was going with it. There doesn't seem to be any like mojo or enthusiasm for what he's telling you. But here's just the audio side of it. Take a listen.
New data centers go up, and they're going up all over. Electricity bills for American families will actually come down. You're going to be building your own data centers, and you're going to building your own electric plants. You're essentially becoming a utility like Con Edison in New York, but maybe at a level that nobody's ever seen before, because we've seen some of the plants that they're building are absolutely incredible. They're absolutely incredible. They're electric plants, electric manufacturing plants. It's hard to believe, but you need double the electricity that we have right now, maybe even more than that, to really fulfill what you want to do. We're leading China by a lot. And using our old grid would not have worked. And I came up with the idea that, build your own plant. This way nobody can complain. You won't call me and say what a terrible job I'm doing, because we have a 200-year-old grid that's not the best in the world. You look at some places, you take a look at California, you have brownouts and blackouts every weekend. The last thing they're going to be able to do is supply electric at numbers. Nobody's ever explained to me why it's so much electricity, why you need so much, nor did I care that much, to be honest with you. All I know is you need more than double what we produce right now. Think of it. So we produce tremendous amounts of electricity for every business, and this industry needs more than double that amount. So we're letting you build your own with the Trump administration's ratepayer protection plan. The American innovators and consumers thrive to win together because we're insisting that AI data centers and big tech companies pay their own way, and that's what they're doing.
Well, they're not, sir. The data centers aren't paying their way in any shape, form, or fashion. I just laid out to you here in our state. They've said repeatedly. I mean, look at that Metro Blocks data center where they were like, we won't do it without the subsidies. That's not paying your own way. Sir, that's just blatantly, patently false. The data centers have not thus far paid their own way on electricity. And there's nothing about the Trump administration so far that they've done in this term where I would say they actually care about my cost of living, my wallet, my quality of life related to the economy. There's no economic decisions these guys have made so far where you'd say you're putting me first. The tariffs are insane. The tariff stuff is ridiculous. The money printing is ridiculous. The war with Iran is ridiculous. All of these things have been counterintuitive to me paying less, to me having a more affordable life. And yet they are signature cornerstones of this administration. Why would I believe it's going to get any different on data centers? He clearly doesn't understand them. He said it in the thing. Why are they using so much electricity? I don't know. You don't know? You're crafting a policy around it. I don't get it. Well, that's the problem. Nobody gets it, including the politicians. No, nobody. See, the problem with Trump is for so many years, he was simply able to show up, exist, say something, and somebody did it. He was also able, because of the dynamic personality and his size. I mean, look, Trump is a massive human. Like, I've met him in person. He's a massive human. He's very intimidating. I'm sure if you got on the wrong side of him. And so Trump, through cult of personality, fame, money, he was always able to just show up and go, here's what's going to happen. And then if you had any doubts, he was like, it'll be the greatest thing ever. I'm Trump. You may have seen me. I was in Home Alone too. And people like, he was just able to speak things into existence. That doesn't work with government policy, sir. You telling me they're going to pay their own way when they haven't paid their own way so far? No. You telling me that I'm not going to be subsidizing them when that's all I've done so far as a taxpayer is subsidize the data centers? No, I'm sorry. There's nothing. Government has not earned my trust to where just because you say it, I go, oh, okay, it's solved now. Problem solved. But our governor has signed on to this pledge, and we will see. Braun has a very bad habit of writing checks with his words that his actions can't cash. We'll see. Hey, you guys got a leaky chimney? Water in the basement. Cracks around the exterior of your home? Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants is your authority for chimney repair, tuck pointing, foundation repair, crawl space to basement conversions, basement waterproofing, and more. Braun Mackay, they don't offer quick patches. Their team of 40-year master masons and industry experts address the root cause and provide solutions that last lifetimes. Your home is one of your biggest investments. Treat it that way. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, BramwellMackay.com, your masonry foundation and chimney specialist. All right, we still got a bunch of stuff left to get to, guys. We got audio from AOC about Mitch McConnell's lack of proof of life. We got a story about some guy. This is an unbelievable story. It's the most government thing ever. This dude, he's 76 years old. He got a wrongly. He didn't do anything. Like, he didn't ask for it. He didn't want it. He didn't want it. The IRS sent him $20,000 in a refund. And he was like, this is not my money. And now, even though he's tried repeatedly to give the money back, the IRS is hitting him with fees and penalties because they gave him $20,000 he wasn't supposed to get, and they wouldn't take it back when he tried to give it back. It's an unbelievable story. The audio of all that. Plus, did you guys see I was in the Indy Star yesterday? Somebody else had something happen to them, and I was in the headline of the story. So if I'm in the headline of the story, I have to comment on it, don't I? Jason, don't I have to comment if I'm in the headline on the story? Yeah, there was a big deal in Indianapolis radio yesterday, and I was in the headline of the story, even though it didn't involve me. So since I was in the headline, I'll comment on it. That might spark some interest. We'll talk about all that and more coming up next. Yes. You're just bitter. Yeah. Just bitter, yes. Well, take a break. We'll be back. It's the Rob Kendall Show.
I'm Anthony Gary. I started Indy Dwell Real Estate because too many friends, family members, and neighbors had real estate experiences that lacked compassion, explanation, and expertise. You deserve someone in your corner with the heart of a teacher, simplifying every step of the buying or selling process. When you hire me, you get me. Start to finish, you'll never be handed off. No stress, no surprises, just the expert guidance and results you deserve. Anthony Gary, Indy Dwell Real Estate. Call or text 317-756-1159. 317-756-1159.
Did you know Honeysuckle Hill in Brazil offers more than just a fabulous made-from-scratch meal at the bistro? It also has an adjoining cottage, great for a perfect, relaxing weekend away with a scenic waterfront view. The cottage offers 3 bedrooms, 2 baths with spa-like tile showers, full kitchen, living room with fireplace, laundry facilities, and a full deck overlooking the lake. And Andy, one of the owners, delivers breakfast in a picnic basket at 8:30 each morning. Plan the perfect weekend away at the scenic Honeysuckle Hill property on the water in beautiful Brazil. Book today by visiting their website at honeysucklehillb.com.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Hope you're having an awesome Friday. Thanks for being with us. If you haven't done so yet, hit that little thumbs up button. Really helps us grow the program. And yeah, my name popped up in a headline in the Indy Star yesterday, even though the thing didn't involve me, but my name's in the headline, and then I'm in a whole bunch of the story. I mean, think about that. Some other guy has the worst day of his life, and you got to share the headline with Rob Kendall. Probably made it even worse for him. How'd you go out? Well, I had to forever. So I was going to Google the guy getting dismissed, and there's my name. So we'll talk about it, right? I think it's fair to talk. It was a big story in Indianapolis radio yesterday. I was in the headline. I was in the story. It involves my old employer. Sure, we'll talk about it. Why not? It's coming up in a little bit. Before we do that, though, hey, owners Dennis and Tina Duncan, along with their son Garrett, you guys know they own Double D's Barbecue in Clayton. They'd love to see you guys this weekend. They're open today. They're open tomorrow. They're open Wednesday through Saturday each week. Double D's, they are all about authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. If you're looking for something different, check out our friends at Double D's. They are not messing around. Winners of both Best Ribs and Best Sauce at Rib Fest in Hendricks County. Ribs, brisket, and more. They're right there on 40, right near 39, where 40 and 39 come together in Clayton. It's Mississippi farm-raised catfish. That's the special today and tomorrow. DDBBQ317 is the website if you want to see it for yourself. DDBBQ317. Double D's Barbecue in Clayton. All right. Okay. This story is wild. And it is why people hate the government. It's why people fear the government. I mean, this story is unbelievable. It comes to us from the Nashville area and Nashville, Tennessee. Yes, thank you for pointing that out. Not Nashville, Indiana, Nashville, Tennessee. And Channel 5 in Nashville did the reporting on this. Hannah McDonald is the woman's name. So this guy is 76 years old. His name is Wilson Perry Kirby. And in 2022, he gets a refund from the IRS for $20,000. It was a mistake. He knew it was a mistake. And he did everything possible to get it fixed. He tried reaching out to his local officials, his federal officials, the state, many different avenues. He goes into this. We're not going to play the whole story for you. I'm going to play you a little bit of it so you get sort of the gist of it. But nobody could do anything to help him. He's like, I got this money. I want to give this money back. Now the IRS is demanding penalty payments because they sent him the money. Somebody sent you money you didn't ask for. You're like, this is not my money. Please take it back. They wouldn't take it back. And now they're demanding the money back and the penalty on the money that they sent him. And he's like, I didn't ask for this money. And it's heartbreaking. Like, I'm just going to play you a part of the story because I don't want to spend minutes on it. But this is the most government thing ever. Take a listen to this.
I mean, if Senator McConnell is not capable of...
There we go.
But when you need the help, you can't get a hold of nobody. You have to talk to
Okay, we're having a day here.
This notice sent in early July demands he pay thousands of dollars in interest on that money he says he never spent, or risk having his property seized.
I wish you'd get it straightened out and get one person to work on it instead of sending me letters all over the United States. I've cried, I've preached, I've asked people to pray for me.
The 76-year-old says he's done everything he can to make it right, including meeting with the IRS Taxpayer Advocate Service in downtown Nashville, an effort he says got him nowhere. It's simple what he wants, for the IRS to stop coming after him. More than anything, Kirby just wants this to be over.
That it was all over and done with. Praise the Lord. Amen. Because I've cried. I'm about to cry now. I don't know what I'm going to do.
This is ridiculous. This is why, you take this story right here and then the story about Ryan Mears, according to that judge, targeting random businesses in Broad Ripple. People live in fear of the government. These people, in both cases, there was no reason for the government to be investigating them in the case of the Ryan Mears stuff. And the guy got charged with 27 felonies. His reputation ruined. In this case, this dude, he didn't ask for this money. He didn't claim he should get it back on a tax return. He didn't want anything special. The government sent it to him, and then he did everything he possibly could to try and fix it at a state level, local level, a federal level, including going meeting with the IRS, like, please fix this. And they've ruined his life over it. Some 76-year-old guy. It is gross, but it's real. There's nothing this guy, he's in some sort of vortex, or even though the news is covering it, no one will step up and say, let's fix this problem that we created for you. All right, one other piece of audio, it's AOC. So AOC, look, she is the new cause du jour, right? That New Hampshire poll says she's leading in the Democrat primary. I mean, she's always been the poster child, the golden one. And now there is polling, and the liberals and the media are like, all right, let's go. Now, what's going to be fascinating to me is if indeed it comes down to Buttigieg and AOC, whose side the media is going to be on, the gay guy or the woman, because they both check the boxes. The Hispanic woman or the gay guy. Either way, somebody's going to get offended. Now, if it's like AOC against Newsom, they're all in on AOC. But AOC at the moment is the new cause du jour, and they are going to prop her up and put her everywhere. You watch. And so yesterday, a whole bunch of cameras got stuck in her face about Mitch McConnell refusing to come clean on what happened with his health. And look, as much as I hate to do it, she's spot on all of this. Now, it's dinner theater. It's performative art from her. But she's spot on this about Mitch McConnell and his refusal to level with the American people.
I mean, if Senator McConnell is not capable of as basic a task as answering a letter to Governor Beshear, I think that conveys a very disturbing inability to fulfill his duties. The governor has asked the senator a very simple question and request weeks ago to simply provide an update on his health, and Senator McConnell nor his staff have provided that. And I think that at a certain point we have to be asking where he is. I understand that people have a right to medical privacy and to deal with their issues, but we do not have the right to disappear from our jobs without explanation. I don't think any American has ever experienced the ability to just leave your job for over a month with no explanation to your employer. And we are accountable to the public. And we sign up for, while there's some measure of privacy, we also sign up to give up a small measure and some measure of privacy because we sign up to be accountable to the American people. And I think that the inability to be transparent is disturbing to everyone, regardless of your party or background.
I've been saying that from the beginning with the McConnell stuff. You're one of the 100 most powerful people on the planet. You control the federal government. You're a U.S. senator. You give up most of your right to privacy when you do that. It's certainly in the confines of if you're not coming to work. You surrender things for power. That's the way it works. This is why I feel so strongly about the stock trading ban. If you want to be able to trade stocks, don't be in the U.S. Congress. Go do another job. You give up certain things. It's not unreasonable to expect you will be held to a higher standard because you're a United States senator, because you have that power, or a congressman, or congresswoman, or the president, or any of these cabinet people. When you have such immense power, I get the right to know stuff about you. I get the right to know that you're capable of performing the task of that power that comes with that power. And so in the case of Mitch McConnell, he has totally let the American people down, or his people, or who knows if Mitch McConnell even knows that he's let the American people down at this point. It's ridiculous. And I blame his staff, too, the people that are standing behind him. This is ridiculous that a United States senator who not all that long ago was the leader of the Republican Party, was the leader of the United States Senate, has been able to disappear for over a month now. Nobody knows where he's at. Nobody knows what he's doing. Nobody knows his condition. Nobody knows when he's returning to work. And he's allowed to get away with that. If I were Andy Beshear, because August 3rd is the day. Oh, what a fun day August 3rd is. August 3rd is the day that he, up until he can call a special session, if someone abdicates an office. If I were Andy Beshear, I would tell Mitch McConnell, you have 3 days to prove you're alive. I'm giving you until the end of the day, Monday. And if not, I'm going to move to declare you dead and call that special election. And I'll see you in court. And then we'll find out if you're alive in court. I'm serious, guys, when I say that. This is ridiculous. And it's not a Republican or Democrat thing. It's the American people, and it affects all of us, not just the people of Kentucky, because he's a U.S. senator. If I were Andy Beshear, I would absolutely do that, and the people would be behind you. This is not something where the guy's been out a week. It's over a month now. And it's not even that he's out. It's that nobody knows if he's even alive. If I were Andy Beshear, I would absolutely announce I'm giving Mitch McConnell until the end of the day, Monday, to show proof that he is alive, proof that he can think for himself, proof that he can function. That's it. You're alive, you can think for yourself, and you can function. Or I'm going to move to declare you dead and call a special election. And everybody for the most part, would be behind him. Oh, what are the Republicans going to say? How dare he demand to know that some guy's alive? How dare he demand to know that some guy can think for himself? How dare he demand to know that some guy can function on behalf of the American people? What's the argument going to be against it? Who's going to stand up and go, we'll see you in court. You don't have any right to know that Mitch McConnell's alive. Everybody'd be behind him. Time for screwing around is over. It is clear there's something going on with this guy. Whether he's alive or not, I don't know. But there is clearly something going on with this guy that they don't want the American people to know about, and enough is enough. I've had it. It's so bad I got to side with AOC. That's how ridiculous it's gotten. All right. Now, I'm going to do this story here in just a few minutes about me showing up in the Indy Star because some other guy lost his job. And I'm going to do it because I'm in the headline. You can't put me in the headline. And there's more about me than this guy in the story. I read the story. It's like, it's more about me than it is him. I don't have anything to do with this. But before I do that, I want to mention this article that Nikki Kelly did in the Capitol Chronicle. Full disclosure, guys, we got away from me. I totally forgot to message Nikki about booking a segment this week. I did. I saw the op-ed last night, or this morning rather, and I said, I forgot to do our segment with Nikki this week. So I'll get it taken care of next week. My apologies. That's on me. But I thought in lieu of her not being here, next best thing would be to do this article because I would have talked to her about it because it's an interesting article. So the Capitol Chronicle, which we use all the time on this show, one of the things I like about them, they do great reporting on the Statehouse, great reporting on Indiana politics and government, but they have an opinion section. And they let their regular writers, if they want to, their rank-and-file writers, sometimes write opinion pieces. I'm okay with that because it's very clearly separated. Here's the opinion pieces. Here's my opinion. I don't have a problem with, well, you're a journalist. You shouldn't have an opinion. Nah, as long as you separate it, I don't care. Don't put opinion stuff in the rank-and-file articles, the regular articles, which they don't. But I'm not like, everybody has an opinion. I'm kind of interested in yours, whether you're a regular reporter or not. So Nikki Kelly does write opinion pieces. They're very clearly labeled. They're very clearly separated. And she wrote in this new opinion piece in the Capitol Chronicle, she points out, it should be obvious, but I'm not sure it is for a lot of people, which is you're about to be really pissed. Like really pissed come August the 7th. What happens August the 7th? The gas tax suspensions stop. And there is zero appetite from, it appears, the governor himself, but certainly not in the General Assembly, based on their reporting, Capitol Chronicle's reporting, to have a special session. That means 60 plus cents is going to be added to every gallon of gas you buy. Like right now, this is one of the things that, like, you're not even getting a break on your gas. What you're paying now for gas, it's even a little higher, but it's what gas should be. So when you hear about like this tax cut, this tax suspension, you're not even getting any benefit in it because had Trump not done this asinine thing in the Middle East, there wouldn't be have been any spike in the price of gas. Braun is doing this to cover for Trump. Same way as why'd they throw money at you during COVID? Because Trump and the Republicans, along with the Democrats, shut society down. You are not feeling the pain of Trump's bad choice because Braun has covered for it. Braun has covered it up. The problem is he's out of executive orders he can do on the gas taxes, and there appears to be no appetite for a special session. Nikki Kelly writes, I calculated that the holiday has saved me around $100, which is not insignificant. Others with larger gas tanks and less fuel-efficient vehicles saved even more. But we're soon going right back where we started, paying more than $4 for a gallon of gas once you add back the current 61 cents in savings. But now state coffers will be more than $500 million lighter, and Indiana will have fewer options in the future. I'm going to get to that part of the article in a second because I got an issue with how she's phrasing the suspension of the gas tax. But she's right. 100%. It is going to be sticker shock because it's just going to spike up. Gas normally edges up. Hey, it went to $3.30 and then it was $3.50 and then you're pissed. But it is going to be basically instantaneous when that gas tax suspension stops, and you're going to see gas go from $3.30, $3.35, whatever it is. I mean, we're going to get to here in a little bit, the skyrocketing oil. It's over $100 a barrel now. I mean, we are in bad territory right now. And Trump is stuck. And the Iranians know he's stuck. They played him for a fool, just like these Middle Eastern countries always do with us, which is why we shouldn't be over there and we shouldn't engage in it and we shouldn't do anything. Economically deal with it, do it to the best of your ability, use your intelligence to keep the whatever nuclear stuff they're doing from getting in the hands of bad actors, and that's it. It never works out. We never stop them. We always hear that the end is near if we don't go in and invade whatever country, and it never works out. Ever. And it's happened again. But she is absolutely right. The sticker shock that the people of Indiana are going to feel once that gas tax gets reinserted, and people are going to get real angry real quick. She goes on to say, after speaking with several GOP legislators, it's clear a special session isn't even on the radar. My argument has been Braun should just force it. He can call the special session. If they want to gavel in and gavel out, that's on them. Same argument I made with him about the property tax deal, because he wouldn't bite on that. And I said, just call the session. If they gavel in and gavel out, whatever bad property tax law they come up with, that's on them. You're immune to it. He didn't want to do it. He wanted to take owner of the property tax bill. I said, people are going to hate you and you'll deserve every second of it. And that's what happened. Same thing here. If affordability is really your top priority, if affordability is really your number one deal, if affordability is really my opportunity, affordability agenda, or whatever his slogan is, prove it. As soon as he calls the special session, the legislature has to respond. If they don't want to do what he said, then that's on them. You took them on redistricting. See, that's another part of this. And by the way, it's another part of this. We keep seeing when Braun has opportunities to fight for us, he won't do it. When he had an opportunity to fight for Donald Trump, lickety split. Sure, absolutely, special session. What do you think's more important? Like, let's just examine these things. What was actually more important to your day-to-day life? Lower property taxes, lower gas prices, or redistricting? What was instantaneously going to help you or would have helped you? Lower property taxes, lower gas prices, or altering a map so the Republicans might be able to win the first congressional district? The answer is pretty clear. But what did he call the special session on? Now, so she's right about that portion of it. But here comes the part where I disagree with her. She's very concerned about if you keep suspending the gas tax, the impact it'll have on the roads. Here's what she writes about the gas taxes. It brought in more than $1 billion in fiscal year 2025. On top of that, the sales tax added another $570 billion. You can't just eliminate billions in infrastructure funding without seeing roads crumble and bridges fall. Here's the problem with that. Revenue projections say we're going to sit on a $5.3 billion surplus. What is a surplus? It's overtaxation. Public school math has taught me that if I add those two numbers together, let's get it high and say it's $1.6 billion between the two taxes. $5.3 billion in surplus is a hell of a lot more than $1.6 billion the gas taxes generated. So you absolutely could, if you gave a damn about the people of Indiana, take $1.6 billion of the $5.3 billion in overtaxation and say we're giving that back. I mean, look, Braun just threw himself a parade for wanting to add an additional $200 million for subsidized daycare. It's another example of where legalized vote buying appears to be a far bigger priority for Braun than your pocketbook, than your wallet, than your finances. There's plenty of money. It's not an either-or thing. It's a prioritization of resources. That's always the issue. Government at the local level, the state level, the federal level. Government is never, ever, never, ever, 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 never short on money. What government is short on is an ability to prioritize expenses. And if you have a $5.3 billion surplus, which is what is projected, you can allocate $1.6 billion of that to keeping gas prices affordable for people, thanks to the president of your own party. If Trump hadn't done the stupid stuff, we wouldn't be here with the issue. Of course, there's broader conversation about the gas tax itself. And if you can suspend it when it's $4, then you should be able to suspend it when it's $2, because either the tax is moral and justified or it's not. And the answer is it's not. So interesting column from Nikki Kelly. Some things I certainly agree with, and I thought she hit the nail on the head. And some things I said I don't agree with, but that's the purpose of an opinion piece. And we like differing opinions here on the Rob Kendall Show. Hey, guys, many homeowners are sitting on more equity than they realize. If you've owned your home for a few years now may be a good time to explore your options. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage is a local mortgage advisor helping Central Indiana homeowners refinance to access cash for home improvements, consolidate higher interest debt, or simply review whether a better loan structure is available. Gary believes every homeowner deserves a personalized mortgage review, not a one-size-fits-all solution. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more. Loansbygary.homes to learn more. Gary Tedrow, Verity Mortgage, NMLS, number 179207, equal housing lender. All right, when we come back, I was in this article in IndyStar. Some other guy got let go, and I'm in the headline, and most of the article's about me. You got to address that, don't you? Jason said it was good etiquette. It was fair etiquette. I could address it, even though I've already been let go. Can't get let go twice. But some other guy got let go. Big story in Indianapolis radio yesterday. I'll address it when we come back. We'll take a break. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
If authentic wood-smoked barbecue is your thing, Double D's Barbecue in Clayton is the place for you. Owners Dennis and Tina Duncan, along with their son Garrett, are from Memphis. So when it comes to barbecue, they're not screwing around. No pellet smokers, no roasters, just authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. All of Double D's food is cooked fresh daily, and it's all made from scratch. Double D's Barbecue, located at 40 and 39 in Clayton, is open all day, Wednesday through Saturday, but get there early because once they're sold out, they're done. Check out the full menu, ribs, brisket, and more at ddbbq317.com.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Is the inside of your house a total mess, like a complete dumpster fire? Call AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning. When you walk into your house after using AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning, you will see and smell the difference. They take great pride in their workers and treat your home like their own. All cleaners pass through a background check and drug screening. Call today and mention you heard about AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning on the Rob Kendall Show, and you will get an incredible $50 off your first clean. AJ's Picture Perfect Cleaning serves all of Central Indiana. Book your appointment today by calling 317-530-8148. 317-530-8148. Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Hope you're having a great Friday. Thanks for spending it with us. Yeah, here, just a moment. I'm going to get into this article that I was mentioning in the IndyStar that didn't even involve me. But if I'm going to be in the article, and I'm not mad I'm in the article, my rule. I said this years ago. I was in a national article about something, and I was talking with the the journalist. And I said, here is my rule for not being upset about articles about me. Spell my name right, quote me correctly. That's it. Don't get your information wrong, spell my name right, quote me correctly. That's the rules. And this article did that. So I'm not mad about if I'm going to be in the article. If I'm going to be in the article more than the person the article's about, I got to address the article. So big news yesterday. I'm sure you guys know most about it with the radio industry. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But before we do that, I got to give some credit to one of the liberal justices on the Supreme Court, and that is Elena Kagan. And I've said for years, so there are 3 liberal justices on the Supreme Court. There are 3 really good justices on the Supreme Court. Kavanaugh's usually kind of okay, and then there's Roberts and what's-her-face? Coney Barrett. It's like there's like pockets of the court. The Supreme Court gets labeled as a conservative Supreme Court. It's not conservative. Not at all. And so like there's pockets, right? There's Alito, there's Thomas, there's Gorsuch. They're A+ justices. Then you got Kavanaugh. He's kind of a B. Most of the time he does pretty good. He's a little too much for executive control. But then there's Roberts and Coney Barrett, and then the 3 liberals. And I kind of look at that as like the pockets of the court. But the liberals have labeled the court, it's this conservative Supreme Court, and they're a rubber stamp for Trump. That's the thing now. The Trump court, they're all rubber stamps for Trump. And it's ridiculous because the court rules against Trump all the time. And I have said of the 3 liberal justices, there are 2 who are just absolute morons. Ketanji Brown Jackson and Sotomayor are just total idiots. I mean, like just dumb people. And then there's Elena Kagan. And Elena Kagan, while she is someone I disagree with her judicial philosophy and I'm sure her politics, she always comes off, or almost always comes off, as a very learned person. You will often see her dissents, her disagreements, her opinions will not merge with the other 2. She seems to oftentimes go out of her way to separate herself from the other 2. She was the Solicitor General under Obama. She will side with the court. She is a strong proponent, like Kavanaugh, of executive authority. And oftentimes you will see her side on rulings of executive authority because she wants a strong executive when the Democrats get back in there. But she was, I don't even know where she was speaking yesterday, but she got asked or was talking about this perception that the court, the Supreme Court, is a rubber stamp for Donald Trump, that they just do whatever Trump says. And she said, absolutely not. To her credit, she said, absolutely not. Now, I bet those other 2 would say absolutely it is. But she, to her credit, said absolutely not. Here's what she said, quote, I don't see this court that it is just like we're going to rubber stamp what the current administration does. Quite the opposite. It was a conference in Washington, Bellevue, Washington. Quote, I think that is a bad rap. Now, one of the things she points out, and rightfully so, is the court rules against Trump all the time, from tariffs to the birthright citizenship. There were several key rulings this year, the biggest ones, the tariffs and birthright citizenship, that went against Trump. Is this court very conservative? Does it do a bunch of things that are out of the playbook of the conservative legal movement that I think are deeply wrong? Yes, Kagan said, according to The Hill. But is this court kind of a puppet for the current administration? I think definitely not. She's 100% correct. It's hard to say that when a court rules against the president on some of his biggest agenda items, I mean, the 2 biggest this year were the tariffs and the birthright citizenship, that it's a rubber stamp for the court. She mentions the tariffs specifically. Tariffs are probably the key policy issue for this president. I mean, something he campaigned on, he ran on, he cared an enormous amount about. I don't think that there are all that many decisions in recent times where a court strikes down such an important policy to a sitting president. Absolutely. The courts usually give great deference to the sitting president. They give great deference to the Congress. They have long, well, especially in the current times. Now, that was like during Roosevelt. I don't think so. But there is usually great deference to the president. I was talking, the court was really a rubber stamp during Roosevelt is what I was saying. But there is usually great deference to the president regardless of time, of party. And certainly in recent years, in recent generations, the court has said, you elect the lawmakers, they make the laws, and then unless there's something very out of bounds, we're not going to play politics. Your job is to elect people who make choices. Now, obviously, the courts do step in. But the fact that they struck down the two top issues of the Trump administration shows you there's certainly not a rubber stamp. The court is not serving as a rubber stamp. Quote, you just have to deal with the fact that there's a conservative court doing things that conservative jurists have long thought it appropriate to do, and I can really dislike that. But it has nothing to do, I think, with becoming the arm of this current administration. She is so spot on with that. I mean, when the liberal courts were doing this for years, nobody said, oh, they're a rubber stamp of the Clinton administration or the Obama administration. They just said, you are liberal justices. You are appointed by liberals. You're appointed by Democrats. You're going to have a judicial philosophy that more appropriately aligns with that way of thinking. If you want to change it, win elections. It took conservatives how many ever years? And they still don't have a truly conservative court. They have a court that's more conservative than it was 10 years ago. But it's not truly a conservative court. And I really appreciate her. And it's in line with what we have seen out of Kagan over the years, where she has taken a measured approach while liberal in her judicial philosophy. She has always been more learned, more measured, more realistic in her approach about what's going on in the role of the judiciary. And so I thought that was a really, really good example. You guys have a dog but don't have a fenced-in yard? Your HOA won't allow a fence? Worried about having to watch your furry friend anytime they're outside? Avoid the blazing hot summers and freezing cold winters with All American Dog Fence. All American Dog Fence is the cost-effective, easy-to-use, in-ground fence system to keep your dog secure and give you peace of mind anytime they're outside. Want to let them out? Don't have to worry about them. Don't want to put that fence in. All American Dog Fence. That's where they come in. They're locally owned. Kelly and Jeff, they're the owners, huge fans of our show. They loved this business so much. They believed in it so much. They bought it. Used to be Indiana Dog Fence. They bought it. Now it's All American Dog Fence. They back their Pet Stop products up with a design that are designed and manufactured in the United States with a lifetime warranty. All American Dog Fence. Call or text them today. 317-862-6606. 317-862-6606. Visit their website. allamericandogfence.com. allamericandogfence.com. And what a deal. You mentioned the Rob Kendall Show, you get incredible $200 off just for mentioning our show. It's a service you need. They're local. You call them, you talk to them. They're right here. They take pride in their customer service and their pricing. Get it all today for yourself. 317-862-6606. Mention the Rob Kendall Show. Get an incredible $200 off. All right. So, you know me, I don't like to pry in other people's business. But if other people's business puts my name in the headline, then I think I got to say something, right? So this was a big story yesterday, and I'm fine with it because let's face it, we were kind of a big deal, right? I mean, what we built together for really 9 years, but 6 years basically as a daily show is something that can't be recreated. And part of why I think we've done so well here and maybe others have struggled is because that bond can't be duplicated. There's only one place you can get this because it's built on trust. And, you know, it was once called, and it was an honor to be this. Adam Wren of Politico in Portonville said, most powerful broadcaster in the state. In all honesty, I think that was probably accurate. Right? I mean, you know, you've got Republican power players saying we bullied the governor into doing stuff on property taxes. Now, ultimately wasn't what we wanted, but we started the conversation. And we achieved that. I say we because it's all of us. We achieved that because it was built on an unbreakable bond of trust and a lane of independence that most broadcasters are afraid to take. Most of these guys, girls, they want to be liked by the politicians. I never understood that because politicians are boring and they're not great for ratings most of the time. But a lot of these broadcasters want to be liked by the politicians. Me, I got enough friends, like 5 of them, more than enough. And so we staked out a lane that most broadcasters are afraid to take, which is we hate all the people equally. We're going to tell you the way it is. And we think most of the time, because we have the independence to say that, you're at least going to respect that we're telling you what we think is the truth. And the crazy thing to me is anybody can have that lane, but they don't take it. It's not like it's limited to one guy. The success we had was built on that and is there for anybody to take. But most broadcasters, most commentators, most media, conservative media are afraid to take it because they crave the acceptance of the establishment, of the party structure. And they will oftentimes find themselves defending the indefensible or not asking the right questions when they have guests on, when hypocrisy is presented right in front of them. Like, a state lawmaker bitching about Indianapolis raising taxes by $50 million when he voted to raise taxes by $1 billion, something like that. People see that. They may not say anything, but they see it, and you see it play out in their listening habits. So it's not surprising to me. I mean, I guess it was kind of, but not really. When something happens at WIBC and I end up in a headline 6 months after, 7 months after. What are we on now? 6 months. It's always been 6 months. Yeah. 6 months. So yesterday, it was announced John Herrick, the news director, was leaving WIBC. And he put a big post out on social media saying, I'm leaving WIBC. And it appears, based on the post, that he was let go, that he didn't leave of his own volition. John Herrick had been there for a long time, since 2017. He had started out as sort of a digital content guy, and then news guy, and then became the news director. And so basically the entire time I had been at WIBC, John Herrick was there when I was there. And here's the headline from the Star. I mean, it's a big deal. He was the news director on the news talk station of Indianapolis. It's a big deal. IBC is a big deal. No matter what the ratings say, IBC is still a big deal. Here's the headline, though. WIBC news director out months after Rob Kendall, Casey Daniels exits. And part of me was like, oh, it's an honor that I'm still in the headline. But then it's like, well, it's kind of his day. And forever and ever and ever, whenever he gets Googled on his day to have his moment in the sun, Rob Kendall's there in the headline. Who worse to share a headline with than Rob Kendall? Someday they're going to look at it and go, who the hell was that guy? You don't want to know. You don't want to know. Here's what the Star wrote. John Herrick, the station's news director since 2023, announced July 23rd that his time at WIBC and Network Indiana is up. His departure follows the end of the popular Kendall and Casey morning show in May after hosts Rob Kendall and Casey Daniels both exited the station earlier this year. It is unclear why Herrick is exiting WIBC, though his post indicates that it wasn't his decision. Hey, welcome to the club. The story closes with, and then we'll talk a little bit about this. The story closes with, the station let go of longtime personality Rob Kendall, host of the Kendall and Casey morning show, in February after a lengthy contract dispute. Casey Daniels, Kendall's co-host on the show, announced her departure from the station in May, emphasizing that this decision was hers. The 9 a.m. to noon Kendall and Casey slot is now advertised as WIBC 9 a.m. to noon on the station's website. So look, we've talked about this before. Radio as a collective has issues. And we've talked about how corporations, be they any of them, were never meant to own radio stations. And that has become the predominant ownership of radio stations in America. Large corporations that have bought radio stations. And one of the things that happens with that, and it's true with any business, any company, is as corporations take over, they are accountable to shareholders. they're accountable to the bottom line. And the bottom line is infinitely bigger than just the little space of the radio station that they occupy that you listen to. They're accountable to shareholders in Atlanta and shareholders in California and shareholders in New York and shareholders in Texas, all over the place. And radio was a business that used to be about creative people doing creative stuff, about people who loved the business, who loved you. In the case of a talk radio station, they loved bringing you the news. They loved bringing you the content. They loved entertaining you. You formed a bond with those people that was like family. Sadly, a lot of those days are over. And we are at a point in our business, and you've seen it on the TV side too. Look what WRTV6 went through with the Wish TV acquisition of WRTV6. And, you know, you've seen the mergers on the Fox 59 and THR side, where we are not emboldening creative people who love their communities, who are passionate about their audiences, who care more about their audiences than themselves, and wake up each day excited to entertain audiences. We're not promoting that anymore. We're not hiring that anymore. We're not giving that to the public anymore. And quite candidly, I don't know how you undo it. I don't know if you ever can bring that back, because we are seeing changes in in that business that are making it virtually impossible. And you guys can see numbers. You guys can see what has happened according to publicly available numbers at WIBC since I left in January. You guys can say that's a huge coincidence and it just happened to go that way. Or you can say people were really mad. People loved what we had. People loved what we brought to the table every day. Our passion, our enthusiasm, our honesty, our brashness, our boldness. And they loved it, not, hey, Rob's the world's greatest broadcaster, but because they're not getting it anywhere else. And you can believe that it's just a coincidence that we start this podcast and it does gangbusters, and the other side has a lot of issues, at least for the publicly available ratings. Or you can say maybe people made a change in listening. Radio still can be great. Radio still has opportunity. Remember the Freddie Mercury song, Radio Gaga? Radio, somebody still loves you. And that was 40 years ago, predicting, right, what was to come. Now they thought it was TV back then. TV, video killed the radio star. But the same thing is true now. But it's going to take some big changes and some big investments if it's going to work. It's going to take investment in local. It's going to take investment in people who are passionate about their communities. They're passionate about holding government accountable. They're passionate about being entertaining every day. They're passionate about giving you what you deserve as an audience. Radio was built on the idea of being a community service. I mean, just 10 years ago, the federal government recognized how radio was not delivering on its premise, which is to be a community service. And so they enacted what was called the Community Radio Reinvestment Act. So it's probably been 15 years ago now. One of the things Obama did that was actually very good was he said not enough radio stations are doing what they were licensed to do, which is serve their communities with local content. And so they created these low-power FM frequencies that either could be paired up with existing AM frequencies for community-based radio stations, or could be acquired by nonprofits who are committed to serving their communities. I've had the privilege of doing both with those. Jason and I, when we had our radio station, we paired our AM up with an FM, and it did wonders for what we were doing. I helped get a radio station started in Hendricks County, 98.9, 11 years ago now, that is owned by a nonprofit, run by a nonprofit. They serve the Hendricks County community. So the government, as recently as 15 years ago, recognized radio's actual premise, and it's the same thing with television. I'm just talking about radio because that's the side that I came from. Radio and television, local radio and TV, the whole reason for their existence, the reason they're governed by the federal government and protected by the federal government is they're supposed to serve communities. People are still hungry for that. County newspapers can still do very well. County radio stations can still do very well. And the same thing could be true for bigger radio stations that serve major metropolitan areas. News talk can still thrive. But you got to keep the people in who give the listeners what they can't get anywhere else. I loved working at WIBC. I would have stayed there forever. And I would have done my best every day to give you guys the radio that you loved. That wasn't my choice. Same way, I bet if you asked John Herrick, he probably might have said the same thing. Doesn't sound like it was his choice. Radio can be great. Radio can be what it once was. Radio can serve the purpose of the whole reason it was governed by the federal government and why licenses were given, which is to serve people of an area, whether it's a county, whether it's a city, whether it's a major metropolitan area, whatever. It doesn't have to be over. That's the thing. Companies are making choices to make radio what it is. I still believe in radio, and I think we proved all those years that people will passionately engage in great local content if they believe in the hosts, if they believe in the programming, if they believe in the message, and they believe the people there are fighting for and are as invested in them as they are the talent. Anytime somebody gets fired in this business, tough to see. Been through it multiple times. But I thought, well, I got to address this, right? If I'm in the headline, and it's always, I posted the headline and I said, it's always nice to be remembered. It's always nice to be remembered. All right. We'll take a break. When we come back, oil. Oil's so bad. And mortgage rates, even worse. Good times ahead. We'll take a break. We'll be back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show. Do you have a dog but don't have a fenced-in yard? Your HOA won't allow a fence? Worried about having to watch your furry friend anytime you go outside? Avoid the blazing hot summers and freezing cold winters with All-American Dog Fence. All-American Dog Fence is the cost-effective, easy-to-use, in-ground fence system to keep your dog secure and give you peace of mind anytime they're outside. All-American Dog Fence backs their Pet Stop products with a lifetime warranty. Call or text All-American Dog Fence at 317-862-6606 or visit their website at allamericandogfence.com. Mention the Rob Kendall Show and get $200 off a new installation.
In Congress, I get all sorts of insider stock tips. Sure, I cashed in. It's my Beltway bonus. But now here comes Senator Todd Young with his total ban on congressional stock trades.
Freaking Mr. Clean Marine. Todd Young's got real guts taking us on. Young's gonna cost me millions.
Had enough of this? Contact Senator Todd Young to say thanks and let him know that you stand with his plan to ban stock trading for all members of Congress.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Hope you're having a great Friday. Oh, you were until this next segment. Oh my gosh, the oil and the mortgages. Woo! Yeah, double whammy. We'll get to that in just a second. Before that, though, help us out. Help us grow the Rob Kendall Show. Give us that thumbs up. It really does help with the algorithms and all that sort of stuff. We call it like, share, and subscribe. It's a great way. If you enjoy the local content we're giving you that you're not going to get anywhere else, you can help us grow the Rob Kendall Show. Also, if you're looking for something to put on your smile on your face this weekend, after I tell you about the mortgages and the oil, how about a trip to the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro? You know, it's on the water in beautiful Brazil. They're open Friday for dinner, Saturday for dinner, Sunday's the brunch buffet, down home, made from scratch meal, or as they like to call it, Hoosier Grub. You can get the full menu, and it's all excellent. Just Google Honeysuckle Hill Bistro. You can see the full menu there for yourself, what they've got. They've also got the cabin. If you're looking to make a weekend of it, the cabin is phenomenal. It's right there on the water, too, in the woods, right by the restaurant. So you can stay in the cabin. You can have your meal there. It's all you want to. It's a great opportunity to get away, but you're not too far away. You can get back pretty quick. Like, what is it? An hour to Brazil? Boom, boom. Easy cheesy. The cottage offers 3 bedrooms, 2 baths with spa-like tile showers, full kitchen, living room with a fireplace, laundry facilities, and a full deck overlooking the lake. And Andy, one of the owners, who made our fabulous sign for the Rob Kendall Show, he delivers breakfast each Sunday at 8:30 in the morning. Well, each morning, I guess, when you stay there, in a picnic basket. 8:30 in the morning in a picnic basket. How about that for customer service? You can book your stay today or make your reservations for the bistro. 812-443-3003. 812-443-3003. Plan the perfect weekend away at the scenic Honeysuckle Hill property in the woods on the water in beautiful Brazil. 812-443-3003. All right. So mortgages, and this comes to us from Market Watch as well as Yahoo. Mortgages are going up. And here's the argument I've always made about money. Money shouldn't be cheap. Money should have meaning. Because if you make it easy for people to get money, then you can use money on stupid stuff. Why did we get all of this irresponsible growth post-COVID? Because money was so cheap. And then there's less of a risk when money is cheap. It doesn't take nearly as much to get a return on your investment. And so all sorts of builders were like, let's do it, man. They wouldn't have done it at 4.5%, or 5%, or 6%. They'll do it at 2.5% or 3%. And you see this in our society where our money lacks meaning. Because what did they do? Lowered interest rates to artificially cook the economy. It's part of when we talk about, again, the effort made by the government, in this case the Federal Reserve, to make you believe that you could shut down society and there wouldn't be long-term ramifications, that there wouldn't be indefinite pain. And obviously what happened was you got a year or two of that, and then here comes the pain. Here comes the big boom. And we have now paid in perpetuity since about middle of 2021, early 2022, for all of these decisions. Money should have meaning because I heard this years ago, and it is an absolute true statement. Money represents somebody's freedom and liberty. Everything you did to earn money, for the most part, like in a job, is you giving up your time. And your time represents your freedom and your liberty. And so if money is a representation of freedom and liberty that you gave up, it should have meaning behind it. Right now, interest rates, responsible saving, they're nothing. CDs, not great. And so I give you this data, maybe looking at it a little bit different than a lot of people. I'm not against interest rates going up. Now, one of the reasons interest rates going up, we'll talk about it here in a second, bad news. But interest rates themselves, money having meaning. I mean, look, we act like, by the way, right now interest rates climbed up yesterday because the big concerns are going to hit 7%. But right now, the average 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 6.58%. It's up from 6.55 a week earlier. That's a 30-year mortgage rate. 15-year mortgage rates jumped from 5.96% to 5.96% from 5.93. Now, these fractions of a point, they may sound like a small thing. Oh, they're not. When you extrapolate them out over a 30 or 15-year mortgage, it's a big deal. It's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, depending on how much you're buying, how much you're paying, how long the mortgage rate is, et cetera. They're huge deals. So it's a big deal that they moved up even what are kind of perceived as those little bits. I did the math on my home. And if I tried to buy the same house today, and just 4 years ago that I bought my house, 4.5 years ago, if I tried to buy the same house today that I bought 4.5 years ago, it would cost me about $600 more a month. That's, what is that, $7,200 a year. That's a very decent little part-time job. You're not getting any extra home. You're not getting any extra value. But between interest rates and property taxes and insurance, it would cost me about $7,200 more a year to own the same house. Put that over 30 years, $210,000 or something like that, right? It's a huge amount of money. It's buying the same house again, a second time. So these things that what has happened with the mortgage rates have had huge implications. I will make the case that mortgage rates were far too low for far too long. And look at the damage that was done to the economy. Now, in a related story that comes to us from Yahoo, oil prices pushed past $100 a barrel for the first time in months. Oil prices are a huge part of mortgage rates, or energy prices are a huge part of mortgage rates. Rising tensions between the U.S. and this Market Watch article spells it out, and Iran have pushed up energy prices, sparking concerns about inflation and the future direction of the Federal Reserve's monetary policy. As Dr. Munger laid out to us last week, he's laid out to me for many years, but last week on our program, Dr. Michael Munger, Duke economist, the higher energy prices go, the more apt you are to have inflation. And the number one way, or one of the top ways to combat inflation, is to raise interest rates to get less money supply into the economy. The Federal Reserve dictates money policy, and they are more apt to raise interest rates if energy prices are more expensive, because energy prices lead to higher inflation. And that's the job. The job of the Federal Reserve, the actual job of the Federal Reserve, there are two things. Number one, get full employment and measure that with interest rates. Balancing of interest rates and full employment. That's the goal of the Federal Reserve. And so if there's a struggle with employment, you see a cut in interest rates. But if employment is full, you should see a raising of interest rates because you want money to have meaning. Now, it brings us to the story I just mentioned. Brent oil prices pushed past $100 a barrel from Yahoo for the first time in several months. Futures on international benchmark Brent surged by more than 7% to cross back over the $100 barrel mark, while those in the U.S. futures gained 6.7% to cross 92.50 for the first time since the U.S. memorandum was signed more than a month ago. So, guys, remember how this went. Trump invades Iran. Oil skyrockets. It pulls back a little bit. It looks like the Iranians are going to come to the table. There's the ceasefire. Oil pulls back. Then they sign the memorandum, memorandum of understanding. Oil pulls back a little more. Iranians violate the MOU, which everybody knew they were going to do. I never understood why oil went backwards to begin with. Everybody knew that Iran was going to violate that MOU. And But then oil prices began to skyrocket again. Trump re-engages the military. The Strait of Hormuz shuts down. They're going after ships. They're going after tankers. And now you have a huge mess. I did the math on this, thanks to AI. And I tried to get a translation of what gas prices would mean if we stayed at $100 a barrel, because we're going to feel the real impact of gas, of the oil prices on gas here in Indiana pretty soon, once the gas tax suspension expires on August the 7th. And so you kind of looked at oil at about $85, $90 a barrel, and then said, okay, what happens if we go to $100 a barrel consistently, which now I believe that's going to happen. We're not feeling the real price of gas right now. We have no idea here in Indiana what the real price of gas actually is because of the gas taxes being suspended. I mean, the eye-opener should be to you how much money the government is confiscating from you. That should be the actual lasting legacy, the lesson learned out of the gas tax suspension. How much is the government actually taking from you? And so, when gas is at $3.35 or $3.39 or whatever it is, where you live, different prices, you don't see the real price of gas. The national average right now sits at $4.08. That's the actual national average for gas. I inserted in, okay, what if we have a sustained price of oil at $100 a barrel compared to the 85, 90-ish that it's based on right now? That means your gas is likely to climb on a national average to $4.40 a gallon. And it'll be more here because we have a higher gas tax. You're going to go from $3.30, which is kind of high. It's not super high, but it's kind of high, to $4.40 or more here in about 2 weeks, if something doesn't change. That is life-altering for some people. $4.40 or $4.50 a gallon is life-altering. And what is your government, both at the federal level and the state level, doing? They're sitting here doing nothing. They're sitting there with their thumbs up their butts, going, hope somebody does something. I mean, you have a governor who knows he's going to be sitting on a $5.3 billion-ish surplus. That's what it's projected to be next year. It's $4 billion plus now. He could easily lose the 1.6 or 1.5 billion that all the taxes on gas generate for the next year and not miss a thing if he just uses the surplus. What's he doing? He's saying, well, I can't call a special session, and here's $200 million additional dollars for subsidized daycare. Fine with you suffering. Fine with you paying more. Fine with you not being able to afford to go to work, potentially. But hey, here's $200 million for subsidized daycare. Hey, here's $700 million for the Bears. Right? You guys realize all that $700 million they're getting from the toll road payout this time, open to going to the Chicago Bears. How angry does that make you? As my kid says, I'm angry. It's, again, there's not a lack of money. It's not a lack of funds. It's a lack of being able to prioritize resources. You are staring in Indiana within the next couple weeks, if something doesn't change, $4.50 gas. What are we doing in Washington? We've been at this Iran thing for 5 months. There's no tangible benefit to any of it. There's no win for us. There's only losses. And yet our Congress refuses to step in. Now, the House did pass the War Powers Act again, but the Senate's not going to do anything with it. They're going to keep defending Trump and the status quo, and he's going to have basically another 60 days to carry on with this. Nobody's looking out for us. Nobody's holding the politicians accountable at any level. How is it that the governor can call a special session for redistricting, but if it's helping you afford to stay in your home or helping you be able to afford gas in your car, well, my hands are tied? The answer? He's very worried about what Donald Trump thinks about him. He's not worried at all about what you think about him. It goes back to what we talked about earlier in the week about government not caring about you. Sort of maybe something we kind of touched on earlier about media. A lot of people don't think the media cares about them anymore. They know the government doesn't, and they don't see people in the media fighting for them either. People are looking for something. They're looking for something different. They're looking for something and someone to believe in. Because everywhere they turn, government, media, whatever, they just see the same stuff. They just see the same people who, well, I'm lucky to be here, or I'm fortunate to be here, or I don't want to disrupt anybody, or I don't want to acknowledge anything. I don't want to make this guy mad. You know who I have respect for? Even though I don't agree with a lot of them politically, people like Greg Good and Spencer Deary who voted against redistricting. They knew they were going to get primary challenges. They knew people were going to spend a whole bunch of money against them, and they knew if they voted for redistricting, they wouldn't go through any of that. You know what they said? Bring it. Because they believed in doing the right thing. We need more people in our media and in our politics that are willing to do the right thing, that are willing to stand up for people who fight for them. Because people see through the BS. They get it, right? Come back to, we talked about John Herrick leaving IBC. You know what made people really mad over there over the past several months? Their refusal to say my name. Refer to me as everything but my name. Not because of me, but because of what it represented to you. I can't tell you the amount of people who contacted me about that. Because, like, they're just going to erase it from the history books. All that stuff we did together didn't matter. It didn't exist. If we just don't say it, you'll forget about it. And people are like, that's all you think of me? Why would I listen to that? People get hired, they get fired in our business all the time. People come, people go. But when you're like, if we just don't acknowledge you ever existed, they'll forget. No, people are pissed. They loved the show. They loved what it represented. And then you saying, well, we're not even going to say your name, which they said publicly on the air, we're not allowed to say his name. It's not like it's some insider baseball. It pissed a lot of people off. It's ridiculous. We're not going to say his name. Maybe you'll forget. Well, you didn't forget. It's pretty obvious. But people are looking in all facets of our life for something to believe in. Doesn't mean you like the person necessarily. It doesn't mean you think they're the greatest human ever. It doesn't mean you're willing to go to war with them. But it means if I go to you as an elected official, I look to you to fight for truth, to fight for what's right, to fight for me. And we did that statistic yesterday where, what was it? According to Gallup, 58% of the people say the government doesn't care about them at all. That's a staggering amount of numbers. It's not even like a little bit. Like, they don't care about me at all. There's a huge opportunity in our society for people to stand up and say, I'm invested in what's right. Not that I'm invested in what's easy or what's going to be the path of least resistance, but I'm investing in what's right. I'm fighting for what's right, and consequences be damned. Look, I'm not going to say he's a friend, but I've gotten to know Greg Good since his redistricting vote. We've had a whole bunch of very, very positive, good conversations. Politically, hell, the guy works for Todd Young. I don't think we align exactly politically. But we always have very good conversations because he's a very honest, direct person. And I know when I'm talking to him, he's gonna be straight with me. He's gonna shoot straight. And I've always said this. It'd be weird if you agreed with somebody on everything all the time. That's you. You're the only person you're going to have that with. And hell, candidly, I spend whole lot of time disagreeing with myself every single day. I spend most of my day arguing with myself. Are you guys that way? Do you spend most of your day arguing with yourself, talking yourself in and out of things? We are a country now that is void of leaders. We're a country that's void of boldness. We're becoming a country in which the people who grab the spotlight, they all sort of seem like they're in it for themselves. I have the attention, but I'm going to try to do what's best for me. And if in the moment that is this political position or that political position, I'll take it. I think, like, to bring it back to our politics, it's part of why Ballard is so interesting. It's just finally someone different. Not an endorsement, not a pledge to vote for, not saying vote for. I'm saying it's different. A guy who has a free lane to be whatever he wants to be without any sort of ramification. Look at Max Engling. He cannot acknowledge Diego Morales. He can't. Now, my goal is to get somebody to force him to acknowledge Diego as the nominee, but he won't do it. We have him on tape saying he believes a special investigator should be appointed to look in Diego. Where's that at? That's disappeared. That's not a part of the conversation. He can't. He's compromised. He's beholden to the party leadership who put him up, who got him nominated, who need Diego Morales to go away. That's not looking out for you. That's not being accountable to you. Look, I think a lot of people don't believe in Bo Bai on that either. He says it. He certainly says the right things. He certainly is saying publicly, Diego is corrupt. The office was corrupt. I'm going to audit it. I'm going to look into it. There's a lot of people, given the connections his family has to both Republicans and Democrats, there's a lot of people look at the money that he's gotten. They hear it. They don't believe it, though. Everybody looks around and in all facets of their. Now, I hope he does. If he wins, I hope he does do that. I hope he does, because it will serve the public interest. It will make us better. It will make our government better to know officials will be held accountable. But the public's looking around all over the place for something real. They're looking for something different. They're looking for something to believe in. And they're not getting it anywhere. And that's what Trump was. Trump 2015, 2016, he was something different, and he was something to believe in. He was somebody that you hadn't seen before, who wasn't accountable to anybody in the system, who didn't owe anybody any favors. At least that's the way it came off. And he was saying all the things. Wow, I've never heard that before. And then, as it happens with so many of our politicians, they get in and they get sort of swallowed up, eaten up in the system. Oh, by the way, it's 11:02. Is that what it says? My eyes are really good. I can almost read that little bitty clock on that computer over there. The headphones are in front of the actual clock. I think it's 11:02, 11:03. Our third hour is upon us. It's brought to you by John Rust. Every day we get to bring you an additional hour of content because John Rust said, I love this program, and I believe in you, Rob Kendall. I believe in what you have to offer. And so thank you to John Rust every day for allowing us to have this third hour. And you know, the thing the third hour really does is it allows us to bring more of you to the show. I mean, quite candidly, guys, if we didn't have the third hour, YouTube chat would be pretty short. Even though we really value what you do, we believe in what you do, we love what you do, just because of all the content, we wouldn't have time to get to as much. It's really the thing I love about being able to do the third hour is it allows us to showcase, to highlight you guys. Speaking of John Rust, big event, October the 3rd, celebration of you, the listeners, the viewers of the Rob Kendall Show. He's having a big old party to celebrate America's 250th birthday at his palatial estate in Seymour, Indiana. We're going to have patriotic music, antique car show, lunch catered by Double D's. I'm going to get a little speech about how great the country is. Birthday cake to celebrate Jason's birthday. And a whole bunch more. By the way, Seymour Oktoberfest is going on down there as well. Rust's event starts at noon. When you get done, when you're out of there, plenty of time to get over to Seymour's Oktoberfest, I believe. Totally free to attend, no cost. Lunch, cake, car show, music, and more. All you got to do is email your RSVP. Just say, hey, here's my name. Here's how many people are coming with me. And then, bam, you're ready to go. That's just so he knows how much food to order. rustforamerica@gmail.com. rustforamerica@gmail.com. Somebody else who's also on your side, our pal, Anthony Gary, Indy Dwell Real Estate. You know, he doesn't just like to show houses. If you're in the buyer's market, he doesn't want to just show you houses. He finds you homes with everything you're looking for, explains your options, and gets you accepted without you losing sleep or sanity. He's an expert negotiator, and he wants to help you achieve your real estate goals. You're never going to be handed off to somebody else, an administrator. You get Anthony from start to finish. Put Anthony's expert buying strategy and experience to work for you. Call or text Anthony Gary, Indy Dwell Real Estate, 317-756-1159. 317-756-1159. Guys, Anthony is a big supporter of ours. He's investing in our show in terms of sponsoring. Let him know you heard about him. Even if you don't need to buy or sell your home right now, just let him know. Goes a long way. 317, just say, hey, thanks for sponsoring Rob's show. Here's who I am. And when I need you, I'll call you. 317-756-1159. Anthony Gary, Indy Dwell Real Estate. All right, we're going to take our final break, and then we're going home the rest of the way. A lot more to come. Hour 3 of the Rob Kendall Show comes your way next.
I'm Anthony Gary. I started Indy Dwell Real Estate because too many friends, family members, and neighbors had real estate experiences that lacked compassion, explanation, and expertise. You deserve someone in your corner with the heart of a teacher, simplifying every step of the buying or selling process. When you hire me, you get me. Start to finish, you'll never be handed off. No stress, no surprises, just the expert guidance and results you deserve. Anthony Gary, Indy Dwell Real Estate. Call or text 317-756-1159. 317-756-1159.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
With a lakefront view in beautiful Brazil, the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage is a little out of the way, but totally worth the trip. Down home, made from scratch food, just like the good old days at Grandma's. When you visit the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage, you'll leave more at peace than when you came in. Open 5 to 8 for dinner on Friday and Saturday, and Sundays 11 to 1:30 for the buffet. You must experience the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage. Call 812-443-3003. 812-443-3003. Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Hour 3 is upon us. Thanks for spending it with us. I know it's a beautiful Friday afternoon, and we appreciate you being with us. Friday's always a weird one because we get so many people over the weekend. I think a lot of people just like take Friday off. I don't know. Always amazed at the listenership over the weekend, and we get a lot of people Saturday and Sunday. But I hope you're having a great Friday. Thanks for spending it with us. We're going to get to the YouTube comments, best YouTube comments of the day, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing here in just a little bit. Before we do that, though, couple of housekeeping items. Number one, if you haven't done so yet, please give us that little thumbs up. It really helps us grow the program. We can't do it without you. Like, share, and subscribe. That's how you can help us grow the Rob Kendall Show. Also, if you really like what we do and you're feeling generous, we have a support button up at robkendallshow.com. $1, $10, if you've inherited a large amount of money, $10,000, whatever it is, we certainly appreciate it. robkendallshow.com. There's a big support. Oh, that's so much better. That number's so much bigger. I could have just done that myself. There's a clock that sits in front of me and had the headphones in front of it, so I couldn't see it. So I was reading the real little numbers on the monitor, and luckily, did I ever tell you I got 20/10 vision? I tell you that? Yeah, I've been saying that for years, and I can still read those little bitty numbers down there. robkendallshow.com support button. All right, one big story before we bring into Jason in for the best YouTube comments of the day, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. This is in the Indiana Capital Chronicle. Tuesday is going to be a very big day in this state, and it's not something that's getting near the attention it should. Tuesday is when the recount hearing will convene in the Paula Copenhaver, Spencer Deary Senate race. And as I mentioned earlier, Spencer Deary was the incumbent from Lafayette. He voted against redistricting. The TPUSA, the Trump people came at him. He won by 3 votes. 3 votes. We talked about that race with the attorney for Liz Braun the other day. The race was decided by 14 votes. This was 3. And the final total, by the way, was 6,337 for Deary, 6,334 for Copenhaver. Every time I see that number, I chuckle because when I was running, every day when I'd go out and knock on doors, and I knocked on thousands of doors, every day when I think about quitting, I was like, what if I lost by 1 vote? I always thought, like, every time I tell myself to quit, I was like, what if I lost by 1 vote? What if my dad had enough of me on election day? And so I just kept going. And obviously we won overwhelmingly, but that's part of why is you just keep going. And I thought, man, I wonder if Paul Copenhaver feels that way. 3 votes, that's 2 people. Either you got to get 3 new people to have voted for you or flip 2 people and you're the winner. That's crazy. So there's this recount hearing, and it's going to be on Tuesday. And one of the things that they are going to challenge, Copenhaver's people are going to challenge, is whether or not they can call as many as 14 people to testify to allege they voted illegally. Now, not voted illegally like as in they voted in the wrong precinct or they voted in the wrong district or they weren't registered to vote. Voted illegally in the sense of we don't like you and we believe you're a Democrat or an independent who voted because you didn't like Copenhaver or you didn't want to help the Republicans, and so we're going to challenge your right to vote. This is unprecedented. And the recount commission, which there's a Democrat, there's a Republican, and there's Diego, get to decide whether these people can be subpoenaed under oath, these 14 people or whatever it is, can be subpoenaed under oath to ask about who they voted for and why. I would say there's no way, but it involves Diego. So there's a way for anything if it involves Diego. There's no way they can allow this to happen. Your vote is yours. You can make your vote as public or as private as you want. You know, they're basing this around, Copenhaver's people are basing this around this law, which says when you sign up to vote in a primary, you're essentially pledging to vote for the majority of that party's nominees in the fall. They don't tell you that when you vote. Nobody probably knew that. That is brazenly unconstitutional. You can't do that. And so if they do this, it's going to end up going to court. The Election Commission is not the court, but this will end up in court if they do that, because you cannot ask people who they vote for. Somebody can tell you who they voted for, but it doesn't matter. You can't nullify someone's vote. Once you allow them to vote and the vote has been tabulated, boom, there it is. You don't know who they actually voted for in the machine. You don't know who the machine actually tabulated. You don't know any of that. This would be a Pandora's box the likes we have never seen. And yet, sadly, this is where Copenhaver and her attorneys appear ready to go. Now, they've done such a poor job so far that of the initial list they were looking at, they found several of these people who didn't even live in the Senate district. So despite the fact that they said they voted for Deary or were going to vote for Deary, they couldn't even do it. So like, oh, okay, no, it's not those people, I guess. You lost. And there is a pattern of this with the Republicans where they set the rules. The people play by the rules that they've set. Then they lose. And then they get mad that they lost by the rules that they've set, and they air some sort of grievance because they lost by their own rules. And then, of course, the follow-up is now they demand that they're going to change the rules, which the new thing is they're going to cut off the primaries, close off the primaries. You lost by 3 votes. Maybe you should have knocked on more doors. Maybe you should have got the long-haired guy. What's his name? The long-haired guy. Well, that's I just called him the long hair guy. What's his name? Not Prescott's the state rep. What's the guy's name? The long haired guy. No, that's JD Prescott. Just look him up. Long haired guy knocks on doors. Long haired. It starts with a P because he got mad at me because I pointed out how small the crowd sizes were for him. Maybe you should have that guy knock on a few more doors and do a little less speaking to a group of 10 people. See how long it'll take Jason to find this guy's name. He got into it with me on Twitter. You lost by 3 votes. Are you doing it? Really? Long-haired, weird. I don't know if he's weird or not. I just know he's got long hair. And everybody's like, he's the end-all be-all. And if Deary wins, then 2 of the 3 races that the Republicans supposedly most coveted, they will have lost. Starts with the P. See how quick you forget about. He's the guy who got all those people registered to vote in Pennsylvania. And then a bunch of people gave him credit for Trump winning Pennsylvania. And then he went on this, he was like the new guy, and he went to New Jersey and lost. And I think he was in Virginia and lost. And then he came here, and because the Republicans won a bunch of these races that had nothing to do with redistricting, they labeled him as the big winner in all of this. And it's like, he didn't have anything to do with most of it. His crowds were abysmal. What is it?
Long-haired, weird political guy, Scott Pressler.
Scott Pressler! That's his...
When I put that in there.
Is your mic on?
No.
Oh, okay. Jay, what'd you put in?
I put in long-haired, weird guy that knocks on doors, and it came up Scott Pressler. Swear to God.
Okay, so Scott Pressler, right? Maybe you should have Pressler knock on a few more doors for you. You lost, Paula. Go back to working for Micah. I know you don't want to tell anybody why you left Rokita's office, so go back to working for Micah, and you lost. This is gross. It's gross. Pending the tabulation of the actual recount, which it was laid out to us by Grant Schwartzentruber, that the actual recount very rarely ever changes the physical recount. You lost. This is disgusting that you're going to try to put people under oath who they voted for. Be better than that. Well, I say be better than that because you're not going to be better than that. That's the new standard. It's always changing with these Republicans. It's always changing. You play by their rules, they change the rules. You watch. There's going to be a movement to change the signature threshold because Ballard did it. You watch. Just like several years ago, when Rainwater did so well, they started to try to change how the Libertarians nominate their candidates. Now they want to close off the primaries. We've seen it in things outside of elections before. Remember when Rickers figured out how to legally sell cold beer and they blew a gasket over that? The Republicans can't stand when you abide by the rules that they put in place and they don't win with their own rules. And we're seeing it play out again, it looks like. Somebody who's been with us from the beginning, and we couldn't be able to do this show every single day without them, Bramwell Mackay. You guys got a masonry color mismatch? Previous repair catching your eye? Not happy with the brick color on your home and ready for a total makeover? Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants offer specialized masonry staining and recoloring. Whether you want to seamlessly blend repairs or completely transform your home's exterior, Bramwell Mackay wants to help you build something new. 40-year master masons design and construct custom patios, sidewalks, outdoor summer kitchens, archways, entryways, and a whole bunch more. They've been with us from the beginning. We couldn't do this show without them. Thank you so much to our friends at Bramwell Mackay. BRAMWELLMCKAY, BramwellMackay.com. Beauty built to endure. We're going to bring Jason in here in just a moment for the best YouTube comments of the day, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. But one of the things I want you guys to think of over the weekend is, what can we do this election season to hold our candidates accountable? You know, I'm thinking about how we started the show today with playing that clip of Todd Young saying he's very upset about all the fraud that's gone on with people who got COVID money, but yet not taking any ownership in what he did, which is vote to give away the money that went to the fraudsters. And you have to know, any person with any common sense would have to know that if you're just throwing money out into the economy with very little, if any, rules, restrictions, regulations, any of it, that you're going to get burned with fraudsters. But there's no ownership from Todd and his role in it. And you see this over and over again, in which politicians don't hold themselves accountable. And I don't know what to do. And I'm asking this out of a sense of genuine curiosity. I don't know, other than getting people on the record saying they're going to do something, how we can better hold them accountable. And that clearly isn't enough anymore. It's like when we talk about Braun signing onto this pledge about the data centers and forcing them to use their own electricity or pay for their own electricity. I'm not optimistic, because we don't have a great track record with Braun, as in not a great track record, an abysmal track record of Braun following through on things. So I don't know what to do, guys. I want to be for something, but I don't know what I can be for anymore. Because every single time, it seems like you get people to say the right things. We hold them accountable in the campaign. We get them on the campaign to say the right things. Then you can't hold them accountable once they're in. What can we do? Be thinking about that this weekend. And maybe if you guys can come back on Monday with some thoughts on it, some ideas on it. Homework. Yes, I'm giving you homework over the weekend. I'd welcome that, because I think that's one of the things we got to really focus on as we start to enter election season, is what can we do to best hold the politicians accountable for what they tell us. And I'm out of ideas. Someone who's not out of ideas, though, is producer Jason. And every day, he steps up to the plate, monitoring, screenshotting, jotting down the best YouTube comments of the day that you fabulous people make in the YouTube chat, which, as a reminder, in order to be a part of the YouTube chat, all you got to do is subscribe to the channel. That's it. It's a pretty easy thing. And then when you subscribe to the channel, you can chat with hundreds and hundreds of other people who love the Rob Kendall Show, and then maybe get your comment read on the broadcast.
No offense to long-haired freaky people. I used to be one.
Apply.
Yeah, I used to be one. Wasn't
not all that long ago.
Musician for many years.
Not all that long ago.
Many years ago. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. This chat brought to you, as always, by our friend John McKinney with Black Sheep Plumbing. If your water heater, water softener, well pump goes out, even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. Black Sheep Plumbing can do the job right at a fraction of the cost of the big guys. Owner John McKinney is a Hoosier lifer, takes great pride, stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee. Also, water heaters with a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Give John a call, 765-315-7558, 765-315-7558. Black Sheep Plumbing.
Bam.
There we go.
With authority.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Interesting chat today, as it typically is on a Friday. Always kind of wacky and weird on Fridays, and today was no exception. Starting with last night.
Oh yes.
Baby Fishmouth. I think she was very happy to be first in the chat.
Oh, congratulations!
Pretty sure that was last night. The days kind of run together, and when you add a night into a day, it seems like, I don't know, was that 2 days ago? But I believe it was last night. She was first in the chat.
Congratulations!
So there we go. This morning, however, it was MLM Warriors. Good morning, all. Today is Amelia Earhart Day, which is observed every July 24th.
I didn't know that.
I did not know that. MLM Warriors adds, Baby Fishmouth was first in the chat last night, along with about 15 chatters. Yes, sir. Okay, I knew I was right. Kevin Branham, good morning, Rob and Jason. Jason joined the chat again last night. Yes, I did. I popped in to say hey. Josh Richardson, yes, that's what I do. Josh Richardson, good morning, everyone. It's Friday. We made it. Yes, I do look forward to Fridays myself, Josh. MLM Warriors, I think, missed the chat last night, and Josh was reaffirming that last night was a solid chat. No, MLM Warrior was back in the chat last night. I'm sorry. Boom, boom, boom. Driver. Great day to be alive. The sun is shining and some clouds in the sky makes the commute a little easier.
You know, the boss once said, it ain't no sin to be glad you're alive.
That's right, I guess. Who said that?
The boss.
The boss?
Bruce.
Oh, okay. Real Cowboy Chris, good morning from Bluffton. That'd be in northern Indiana. I'm making the drive to Brownsburg today.
Oh. For what?
It'll take you longer to get through Brownsburg than to get to Brownsburg from Bluffton.
Yeah. They've designed Brownsburg the last decade. They've been very strong on the design, and the traffic flow is amazing. And
it is. Last time I was there, it was like you couldn't move.
All the apartments they put up and the warehouse. It's just a very well designed.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
You know, it's very well put together.
I see what you're doing.
And last night they voted to raise the water and sewer again. So I mean, it's very. It is definitely not a town run by absolute clueless morons. It is a town on the go. It is well designed. It is well funded.
Very unlike Greenwood.
My gosh, these people are just outstanding. You will love your trip to Brownsburg.
So in other words, it will take them longer to get through Brownsburg than to get to Brownsburg, which is what you just said. Maybe head out to Clayton for some catfish dinner tonight.
That's right. Mississippi farm-raised catfish. That's the special at Double D's.
Yes, Double D's Barbecue. Kenneth Egold, morning all, 24 hours on call, tow trucking. That would seem to be not safe. 24 hours on call. When you get to that 23rd hour.
Yeah.
Boy,
it's a truck.
Seems
You're driving
unsafe.
a truck.
I'm glad you're not a brain surgeon.
I don't think they do that way.
Like that too.
I think you have that lined up in advance.
Yes.
Usually.
I'm sure he's smart enough to be, though. I will be here listening, and if not too busy, chatting a little. All right, Kenneth. Be safe out there. Driver at Jason, just a reminder, it has always been a lifelong goal for me to be number one in the Rob Kendall YouTube chat 2 days in a row ever since I was a small boy.
That's right. Who said that?
That was Driver.
Yep.
But that's ain't happening today.
That's a longtime fan of the show right there. He's gotten all the phrases down in one thing. Yep. He's on it.
But he lost. He was beaten by Baby Fishmouth and MLM Warrior both days. So try again, Driver. All right. Josh Richardson at Driver. We should all have such lofty goals. That's right. If you don't aspire to achieve your goals, you probably will never do so.
That's right.
All right. You got to start over again 2 days in a row. Spray Jockey, my points didn't go away from last night. Hanging in at 75. YouTube's just wacky. Sometimes it'll steal your points. Sometimes it'll leave them.
Maybe it's like that guy with the IRS. Maybe they're going to come back and take them later.
Oh, that's right. You may be paying a fee on that later. Driver, points stay, but the comments roll off over time. Yeah, we know the comments don't stay. So it's kind of like, this message will self-destruct, and you can write something and know that it will not be there unless somebody screenshots it. Yeah. Spray Jockey, happy Friday, Robbleheads. Rob, Jason, Ethan, and John Rust. There we go. MLM Warriors comment after 5:30 a.m. fell off at 6. I think 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 a.m. I think that is the where it deletes everything, starts all over. So y'all got to come back and do it again. The Bad Cupcake.
The Bad Cupcake?
The Bad Cupcake.
Is that new?
Cupcake is a name I never allowed a stripper to use.
Really?
I had, you'd be surprised how many want to say, I want to be Cupcake.
Why?
You can't be Cupcake because you can't say, hey guys, welcome to the stage, Cupcake. It doesn't flow.
You got to pick people's names?
I didn't get to pick them. If you, but as the manager or DJ, if somebody came in new and there was already a Barbie or a Bambi or whatever, it's like, well, you can't be that because
you wouldn't want to be Bambi 2.
That's right, and I wouldn't say that anyways. So as the DJ, it's got to roll off your tongue. You can't say welcome to the stage, cupcake.
Now, theoretically,
like tasty works, but you can't say cupcake.
Let me ask you this, because theoretically, like if you're not the DJ that night and some guy can say it, then are you stuck with it, or do you you got to change your name?
Well, if I was working there and I wasn't the DJ, then that means I would be the manager.
Right.
And I would tell
But
them.
I'm saying if you were the DJ and let's say
I was a night off and another DJ.
Yeah.
I'd say that's too bad. I have authority. You're not.
Really? You could make them change their
refuse
name.
to call you Cupcake.
Did you ever know their actual names?
Usually, yeah.
I mean,
I still know them today as their
stage
name.
names.
Yeah,
right?
it's like Butterfly. I remember you. I just don't know your name.
Yeah, right.
Okay. But the bad cupcake today. Hi there, morning, all you awesome people. Hope you have a great day.
Thank you. Welcome.
All right.
Glad to have you.
Good to see you in bad cupcake. See, it doesn't flow. Okay, MLM Warriors. Chat was dead.
Wait. Did anybody ever get lippy with you about it?
Oh, all the time.
Really?
Yeah, I've been cupcake all my life. Sorry, not tonight. Okay. MLM Warriors. The chat was dead from midnight to 7 a.m.
Wow. People were probably sleeping.
Midnight to 7 a.m., not MLM Warriors, who added, apparently I had too much ice cream last night.
Oh.
Yes, kept you up all night. All right, let's see. Continuing on. MLM Warriors added. Nice shirt there, Rob.
Thank you.
Purple, says driver.
My babysitter, not my babysitter, but Libby's babysitter said that this morning. She's like, that shirt looks good on you.
Yeah, I left the purple lights on, too. I wasn't sure. I probably should have changed those to green, but, purple on purple, and we already started the show, and I never pay attention to that stuff.
Right, all right.
So, okay, Josh Richardson, Rob rocking the Rob looking suave in his purple shirt today.
Yes, he is.
There we go.
Yes, he is.
MLM Warriors pointed out number 18, Mike Pagel on the table. That's not Mike Pagel on the table. That's Peyton Manning on the table. Bartelt Farms. There should be no government subsidies for data centers. They are not job creators. All they do is use local resources for a company located in another state or country.
Yeah, no, he's right.
Don't disagree.
Yeah, a bunch of the oppo to the data center would probably go away if they just paid for everything. Like, you need to be here.
Right.
You need us for these variety of geographical reasons.
Right.
You build $1 billion building, you're paying $30 million a year in property taxes. And they would probably stop building the building so fast.
Well, and then when they leave the building, it's going to be scrap, and somebody's going to tear that building down. Don't tell me that's not going to happen. Shrog Sandwich. Guys, set a daily alarm and call our bought and paid for senators. They're sick of hearing from me. I know it, and I don't care. I think Shrog is a pain in their butt.
Good for her.
Yes. Josh Richardson, sure is easy to give out money when it isn't yours to begin with. Yep.
Yeah.
Jan Hatch, I think that is my favorite shirt. Stick with that color, with that background. That's why I didn't change it in the break.
Well, it's different than the other shirts. My mom was very concerned when she
very Easterish.
When she got it for me. She was very concerned that it didn't match the other shirts. And I said, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Ooh, Shrog doubling down. I'll be calling Todd Young's office again today about data centers, Israel, THC beverages being banned in November. She's a proponent of THC beverages, and whatever else I hear today that pisses me off.
Whoa, the THC beverages, they're done?
They're going to be banned apparently in November.
We used to sell those at the bar when I was a bartender.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We called it the weed beer.
The weed beer. It's not really weed beer.
I know.
It's like probably more hemp than anything, but
why are those being banned?
They just I think now I'm only speculating. You want me to speculate?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm only speculating. Law enforcement has a hard time differentiating between marijuana and hemp, because it looks exactly the same. Now, that's the physical form. When you just look at it in a baggie, it's like, well, we've got to test this and everything else. And it will test for THC because hemp is 0.03% THC, whereas marijuana is can be up to almost 50%, which brings on that psychosis stuff.
Now, I want to point out the reason you know all this. You are not like an avid weed smoker.
I read Abdul's posts.
You used to be the voice of the Midwest Hemp Council.
I used to be the voice of the Midwest Hemp Council. And
yes.
We talked a lot of hemp.
Yep.
And and we talked about the difference between hemp and marijuana, which is a big difference there. But as far as the beverages, things like that, it's just extract, things. And it's because and most people don't understand what you're talking about when you say hemp. It's kind of like where CBD comes from. CBD does not come from marijuana. It comes from a hemp plant. And there's industrial hemp you make ropes and all that good stuff with. And then there is there's the hemp that they can that they get or the CBD plants. CBD is very good for you.
I tried it. I thought it was pretty nasty.
Well, if you don't get the right stuff, if you buy it from the gas station, you get dirt tasting hemp or dirt tasting CBD, but if you get it from just like anything, I mean, it's just, and that's the problem. It's not regulated right because the politicians have no clue what they're talking about, and they wait for somebody else to tell them what it is, and then there's so many different stories about what it is. They just say, well, we'll just scratch it. Anyway, Kevin Branham says Schrog is off the rails today. Yes, Schrog was kind of on a heater today. All right, Debbie Holcomb. Hey, Robbleheads at the NFL Flag Football Championships.
Oh!
Stopping in to say hey. I wonder where that is, the NFL Flag Football Championship.
In Westfield.
In Westfield, okay. She says she'll be watching later.
Okay.
And talking. She'll be in the chat this evening.
Very good.
So
very good.
I'll stop in and say hey. Josh Richardson, speaking of utilities, got my AES bill a couple days ago. There was a $17 customer fee. What the hell is that? I pay a fee to a monopoly to be a customer, and they put the thank you for being a valued customer.
Yes.
Turn the damn power on.
Nobody understands utility bills. That's there's too many things too, like fluorescent light and this light and the blah, blah, blah. And it's just like.
And the bills never go down.
No, never.
Ethan Hatcher, you know what would solve the capacity issue? Nuclear energy. Bring on the small modular reactors, baby.
Ethan is a big believer in the SMRs, but there is not a single community you can point to in this country where the SMR is currently powering the country. It's never worked. Like it doesn't. It's a myth that they're spreading I mean, it may work in the end, but it's not close to working.
Right.
I mean,
it would take a long time.
Yeah. It's like,
and where are you going to build them?
Well,
next to the data center.
I mean, the dude that they picked for the IURC spelled out the issue with the nuclear, which is why I can't believe they picked him.
Right.
The guy
and I think that's what people are saying is like, okay, then shouldn't the data centers build their own little nuclear reactor, which you would trust them wholeheartedly with that. And that way they would have.
How'd you like to live next to that?
Yeah. Nothing could go wrong there. All right, MLM Warriors. All data centers need to be built with solar panels and big windmills. Yep. Bartelt Farms data centers are managed remotely. Only local jobs are maintenance. Spray Jockey. We should never need a proof of life of any politician.
No, you're right. Absolutely.
Speaking of our boy there,
Mitch McConnell. And whoops, where am I at there? Just wanted to get that there. Okay. And let's see. Here we go. Bartelt Farms all over it today. We're going to get Tom Bartelt in, hopefully next week. He keeps asking, you keep asking me to come in, and then you don't give me a date. When am I coming in? And so we need to discuss that after the show, Rob, because he's got some great information about the Mid-States Corridor and all the hassle they're going through down there for that. So we want to get Tom in here. All right.
Have a chat. Tom's the reason you got fired, because we interviewed Tom and he told the story, and then we put it on WIBC, and then the next week you were asked not to come back.
We have no idea why I was dismissed.
But he says Mike Braun is desperately trying to rebuild his reputation so he can get reelected to finish his road. I hope everyone realizes this. Nothing else matters to him. I agree. Driver, now I wish I had a newspaper, so he could read about your article, the featured Rob Kendall story about somebody else being fired.
It's up there at IndyStar.com if you want to see it for yourself.
Ethan says nuclear reactors design are very safe, Rob.
So. Okay, but again, show me one community in this entire country where an SMR is powering the community. You can't do it because it doesn't exist.
There you go. That's your challenge, Ethan. Baby Fishmouth, farmland should be rewilded. Rewilded. Meaning go back to where it grows up and becomes a forest.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got to pay the farmer for that. Are we paying for that? We got to pay the farmer for that so it can be rewilded.
Rewilded. I've never even heard that before.
That's an intellectual
rewilded.
Term. That's why you would never have heard of that. And Bartelt Farms comes back with great idea to rewild farmland. Everyone will need to go back to scavenging for their own food. How are your hunting skills? Is what he's saying without the farms.
Yeah, no farmer.
I'm not sure she meant that, like rewild all the farms, maybe just the ones that they turn into housing developments.
Oh.
I'd probably be for that, but I don't want to pay for it. All right, driver, talking about Nikki Kelly and your derelict in your duties. Book her twice add a bonus segment interview.
Oh, I don't think she'd do that.
Yeah.
I think she has to put up with me for 15 minutes.
I got blamed for that somewhere here.
Each week. 15 minutes each week.
Yeah, I got blamed somewhere here for that, and we'll find it. Steve Green with an E. The chat takes on a whole new dynamic when the normies aren't here, but I'm here for all of it. Fantastic. A lot of newer people in the chat today.
Good.
Every now and then you'll get some people that'll come in and just blow up the chat, and then they'll get all angry at somebody because somebody else said. It's like, you got to kind of slowly work your way in, get a feel for it. This is not a Facebook, just bitch fest or whatever.
It's a community.
So it is, yeah. You can have your take. You just have to understand other people have a different take, but it's not Facebook where you're just going to go off on them because that's not the purpose. It's like, we're adults here. You can handle somebody else's take. Plus, if you don't like what they say, just block them.
That's right.
That's all you got to do. Block them. Okay. Speaking of which, TCGTRI. The gas doesn't have to go back up. They could remove the gas tax altogether.
That's right.
Yeah,
they could.
That's good.
And we laid out with the math. They have
we
plenty
got
of
how
money.
many billions of dollars in surplus? But
they're projected to have 5.3. The gas taxes are about 1.6. Last I checked, 5.3 is way more than 1.6.
All right. Here we go. Continuing on. Robert Schwartz. I remember when Franklin and Martinsville both had local radio stations, local anchors, local content. That's all ancient history.
Not many locals, not much local stuff left anymore.
ZPL really not covering a lot of Shelbyville news.
We had this conversation years ago about, like, if you owned, I won't name any radio stations, but if you owned a big station in a major metropolitan city, and let's say your owner, it's a local guy, and he's like, I'm dedicating it to local content. And you're going to make, which you could realistically do, $500,000 a year.
Ooh, that'd be sweet.
If you're...
You say we could do that?
If you're... we don't have the money to acquire the station.
Yes, we tried that. It didn't work. I didn't see my $250,000 check.
Yeah. But realistically, you could probably, if you owned, the talk station or whatever in a major metropolitan city, because they do make money, you could maybe make $500,000 a year off of that, which is great. If that's what you do, like if that's your thing. Or it's your, you own another business or whatever. Or even if it's $250,000 a year. It's great, right? You own your toy. Your hobby's paying you money.
Right.
But if you're a major corporation, that's not enough money because it's got to go somewhere else. It's got to go somewhere else. You're always getting more demand from your shareholders that you got to turn. So it's, no matter how much money you generate, it's never enough money. It's never enough money.
Right. Mad Duck, farmland should be farmed. We eat. Yes, we like to eat.
I tend to agree with that.
Yes, we do. We do like to eat. All right. Somebody was talking about how great my shirt was. That would be probably MLM Warriors. Yeah, nice shirt, Jason. Thank you. Had to make sure get that one in there. There was another one there. Okay, so let's see. Producer Jason is 21st place in the top fans points. So I did my, came in last night, got my points.
Oh, you got your points.
Got my points. Right. Got on the board.
Right.
Got on the board. Yep. Okay, go back to the chat. Driver. Okay, we're talking about radio. Driver, how long until YouTube radio comes to your car powered by cell towers instead of radio stations, or would they just take over satellite radio? I listen to satellite radio way more than, I don't listen to local radio at all. But satellite radio, you got so many other news options and things like that. That's the way I go. It's only like $5 a month or something like that. So that does me. Can't pick up the Rob Kendall Show on Sirius yet.
That's right.
But you got you can just hook up your phone and play iHeart and what am I trying to say? The podcast. Or play it straight from YouTube. You can do it right now. Go in your car, plug it in. You can listen to us right now. Every time I run over to McDonald's, I plug it in and listen when Rob's on. All right. Kevin Branham. All right, government workers, break's over. Hit that like button. Timothy Sears. Indy needs another strong news station to compete with WIBC. Well, you never know. Steve Green with an E. What happened to tracking and flooding the market with U.S. oil like we did a while back?
Great question. Now would be an excellent time to do that. Because I was told that we are gangbusters on the energy creation.
Okay. Shrog Sandwich, what's the call to action to make brainless Braun make the suspension permanent? She wants a rally or something.
No more rallies
to raise
for me.
hell.
I did a rally.
Yeah.
I did my part. No more.
It didn't work, did it?
I'm retired from the rallies. I might go to a rally, but I'm not ever putting on a rally again.
Gotcha. McLovin's, we could have a gas tax rally. Yes,
I would support anybody doing that.
You guys coordinate it, set it up, and we'll show up.
Maybe.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Depends on when you do it.
That's true. Very true. Rob won't show up. Schrog Sandwich. We cover all sorts of things daily with zero call to actions to do anything about it. Is there anything we can do other than calling our paid senators daily? Any suggestions, Rob?
I mean, you got to beat them at the ballot box.
You could.
This is when it comes back
in
to
the primary. That's where you do it in the primary, so you don't have to worry about voting against your party. I'm using where's my quotations? Yeah,
but it does talk about like the Secretary of State's race. If you want to send a message, you've got options this year, whether it's ballot or buy or whatever, to send a message. I mean, if you keep voting for the Republicans, they're going to keep governing the way they've always
If you're voting
governed.
for England, don't even listen to the show. I mean, that's just come on. You're just giving up. I mean, come on. You know, a lot of people probably have not voted. I mean, a lot of people are just used. I was guilty of it for forever, voting just straight party.
Yeah.
It's like, why would I ever vote for the other side? But later on in life, I started voting in the primaries against incumbents, like school board, anything. If you're an incumbent, I'm voting you out because you're probably not good. So that's my fight, my silent fight. McLovin's, we could have a gas tax rally. We covered that. And Steve Green adds, after McLovin said we should have a gas tax rally, Steve Green said after the property tax rally.
We have another one of those, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
They're wanting some rallies, Rob.
Good luck.
All right. Kevin Branham, I'm voting every incumbent out. There we go. Great minds think alike. Don B., the non-compete clause is crazy, especially when you got fired. Talking about the radio thing there. Quote, we took away your job and won't let you take another. Well, a lot of times in that situation, whoops, I lost my place. People are paid after they leave to not work somewhere else. They just can't force you not to be employed. So, I mean, I don't know. I've never had a contract with a radio station. Nobody's ever wanted to be there long, and I always quit.
You never had a contract at any of the radio stations?
Never had one, and I've never given a 2 weeks notice. Did you get a 2 weeks notice? No,
was fired.
Didn't. Yes, you were fired. You didn't get a 2 weeks notice.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
2 weeks,
I see what you're saying.
I'm writing this note to let you know that we appreciate your employment, but in 2 weeks you will be fired.
You know the one thing I hate.
I never give a 2 weeks notice.
And I said this for years. I always wanted to know whenever I inevitably got fired what the parting email was, because there were two sorts of emails that always went out.
You've said that, yeah. Go ahead
and nobody ever forwarded me the email, so I still to this day don't know. Maybe Ethan still has it. I bet Ethan still has it.
Well, the public announcement is, if they wish you well, then you left. But if they fired you, it's this person no longer works here.
Their last day was
his word for it.
So I want to know after 9 years if they wished me well or they said his last day was he's no longer.
I worked at a newspaper once, a weekly newspaper one time, and I admit I was kind of an ass, and I started another paper, right? And I hadn't quit the other one yet, and I was a day away from getting my paycheck, and the owner found out about it. Somebody snitched on me, right? So I walk in. He says, have a seat. And I sit down. He takes a picture of me. I'm like, oh, shit. Oh, excuse me. Crap. And he's like, okay, so basically, yeah, we know what you're doing. Get out and all that stuff. You're not getting paid either. And so the next week, the paper came out. My picture on the front page. This person no longer works for us. Do not accept, advertise, whatever. I'm like, dude, no, I've got my own paper now. I don't care. But, yeah, that was, yes, sir. That's how I depart companies. Just so you know, Rob.
Oh, I know how you depart companies.
Yes, sir.
I've seen many of them.
Yes, sir. All right, here we go. You talked about arguing with yourself on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Josh Richardson, I lose arguments with myself. Yeah, it's hard to win those arguments.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin Branham, thanks for the third hour, John Rust. MLM Warriors producer Jason, do you know how big Network Indiana was? Not very big.
Well, I mean, at one point it was huge.
Oh, but not. I said not very big now. But,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Never worked for Network Indiana, but I was.
We were, however, in
the
Network Indiana studio we were in. Mm-hmm. That's where we did a lot of our work. But
Gotcha. All right, MLM Warriors. Thank you, John Rust. Steve Green with an E. Rust or bust. Spray Jockey. Thanks, John. Ethan Hatcher. In Rust we trust. Driver. Thanks, John Rust, for the third hour. MLM Warriors. Rob needs a bigger clock. A radio clock is needed.
Well, I got one. I just
Okay,
had to move the
yeah, it was
headphones.
just covered up, Rob.
Those are huge numbers.
We only
Someone
take
with
5 breaks a show, and Rob couldn't get up and move the headphones out of the way, so I had to do it.
Someone with my eyesight, those are massive.
Yeah,
that's
you
like
keep
a jumbo
bragging about
clock.
that like I used to, and then one day you'll start getting headaches. Why am I getting headaches? Oh, I can't see. That's why. MLM Warriors, Rust for America. Josh Richardson, thank you, John Rust. Steve Green with an E. After speaking with Mr. Rust at the live event, I'll put a door hanger on every door in Lawrence County if he runs for statewide office.
There you go.
Yeah, we got some volunteers already lined up.
There you go, John.
Yep.
Got to do it.
Oh, and McLovin's, I'll put them on doors in Marion, Hamilton, and Hancock counties.
There you go.
All right.
Got to do it.
Excellent.
And you got to get the bus. I mainly just want the bus to be out and touring the Hoosier State.
Right. Shrog Samich, I wonder if I can bring my own THC beverages to the Rust party. I can't, won't, don't drink limp liver over here.
What?
That's probably
I don't even know
a
what
word.
she's saying.
That's probably a word for soda. Me and C Mills ride the sober train together. So they don't drink alcohol, but they drink, well, she apparently drinks THC drink. Okay, so the thing with the alcohol at John Rust's party, people have asked about that. And John did not officially reply to me, so I'm not quoting John at all on this. It never happened. The conversation was not had publicly. If you bring alcoholic beverages to John's party, don't be an ass about it. Don't be handing them to 12-year-old kids. Don't be drinking and driving. Don't be arguing with people because you're an alcoholic. And but he can't go through and police everybody's car, right? And he's not going to go around and sniff your drinks and things like that. Don't be an ass, okay? It's his private property, but there are still laws against stuff like that. If you leave and you're liquored up and you have an accident, John could be held accountable. That would be a tragedy because your dumb ass can't hold your liquor. So I'm not looking at you specifically, Rob. I'm just saying anybody.
I don't drink in public anymore.
That's good. That's good for you. Kevin Branham.
As we determined, right?
As we determined. Kevin Branham. Jason, please address what John Rust said about beverages. John did not say that. That's my interpretation of a conversation I may or may not have had with John. All right, Rob, I know you got to get out a little early today.
I got a meeting.
Yes. Let's see. Were there any did I miss Rock Laws is very proud to be number 44th in the rank in the chat today. Right?
Aim high, baby.
That's right.
Aim high.
That's right. Okay. Scott Pressler. That's let's see. Always a great chat when Jason joins. Always great when Jason joins the chat. Yep. So okay. So let's find out. I've given you time to get to number 1. Nobody's beaten number 1 today.
Uh-oh, is it overwhelming?
Cow. Holy cow. And what an awesome Friday. We had over 44 chatters, what I'm trying to spit out there. And let's see what we got here. The top 10 for today. Let's see if you're a big winner. Not that you can't all follow along and already see this, but for those of you listening at home that are riveted about the chat, that don't participate in the chat, you'll be happy to know that number 10, number 9, and number 8 all tied with 250 points. Number 8 was Kenneth E. Gold, 9, Steve Green with an E, 10, Cowboy Chris. Number 7 was Spray Jockey at 275 points. Baby Fishmouth with 325 points at number 6. At number 5 was Driver, 375 points. Number 4, Rock Laws, 625 points with 725 points. Number 3, MLM Warriors. Number 2 with 750 points. Have you noticed, Rob, the points are like jacking way up now?
People are invested.
There we go. Yes, they are. This was a great idea to read this. I should give myself a raise. Josh Richardson, number 2 at 750 points. Number 1 in the chat. This would have started last night. People got to get in early, 6 o'clock. I put it up. You can start chatting. It was 6:05 last night, and I just saw in my head MLM Warriors going, where's it at? Where's it at? Number 1, 825 points. Somebody's going to crack 1,000. That's the goal. That's what I want to see. Somebody get to 1,000. But today, pretty good job. Kevin Branham.
Oh, wow.
Number
He's
one.
back. He's back on top.
25 points. You guys got all weekend to work on this. I'll put the chat up. What time should we put the chat up over the weekend, Rob?
I don't know, man. I'm just trying to make it through the day.
It's important stuff, dude.
Well, you figure it out.
Put some thought into it.
I cannot give you topics
Your
until
shift is not over until noon.
I cannot give you topics
You have
until Sunday
6
afternoon.
o'clock on Sunday.
Okay.
6 o'clock on
I'll do my best.
Sunday. We'll get the chat back up so you guys can set your alarms, and we'll make that happen. So that'll do it for the chat. Brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. You guys have a fantastic weekend, and I think we covered everything. So we'll see you. So long, Rob.
All right, you guys. Thank you for another great week of the Rob Kendall Show as we move past episode number 100, and we remain dedicated to bringing you Indiana news, politics, and government you're not going to find anywhere else. You guys are the absolute best. Have a very safe and happy weekend. Take care of yourselves, check on your neighbors, and we will see you back here Monday, 9 until noon. Before you leave today, if you haven't done so yet, please hit that little thumbs up button. Really helps us grow the program. For producer Jason, I'm Rob Kendall. You've been watching, you've been listening to Rob Kendall Show.